Welcome back, YouTube. What is up, guys? Thanks for coming back to the channel. If you guys haven't heard or haven't checked out some of my old content before I kind of started taking off, I used to be more of a Pokemon Unite content creator than anything, I guess. And I used to play Pokemon Unite competitively. And I had the privilege today of getting to talk to one of my good friends who kind of taught me how to top lane because we were both in the same organization. He was on the first team, I was on the second team, and he kind of taught me how to do top lane and about the meta at the time I was playing and everything. So I'm really excited to have him on and kind of do a co-op, stream highlight talking about the meta for Pokemon Unite. So if you guys are interested in Pokemon Unite, stay tuned for this video. It's going to be a long one. I'm recording this after I've already done all of the timestamps and everything for the video. It's a long one, so hang in there. I've got timestamps for each section. We're going to talk about the emblems in the game, and then we're going to go into held items, battle items, and then finally close out with ranking all the Pokemon about how they are in the meta of like 5-stack competitive Pokemon Unite. So if you guys are interested, stay tuned, and keep supporting me in my channel. I love all things Pokemon, and I love you guys. So thank you and enjoy. Build would be, I guess. And
Gotcha.
I can either start with like how I'm interpreting them so far and then bounce to you and see what you think if I'm like right or wrong, or we could just like start you off on it and I could like respond somehow. What do you think would work best?
It all works. We'll just do whatever. Hold on, I'm changing. I'm like quickly doing a scuff stream right now, trying to get this set up.
Okay, I'm totally doing scuff stream, but I don't care. I don't edit most of my videos anyways yet. And people still love
All
me.
right.
It's fine.
So yeah, I'm on UniteDB right now. So you said you wanted to talk about emblems first.
Yeah, I guess just like I don't really have anything to look up. There is emblems on UnitedTV. Nice. I guess
Yep.
just like what do you think of emblems in general?
Emblems in general, they're fun. I guess they're interesting. I hope they never get added to tournaments. Like
Yeah,
never. I just don't want to deal with them in tournaments. There should be no reason why emblems should ever be added into tournaments. But other than that, like they're kind of fun. Like it's cool to like strategize stats and everything else. But other than certain emblems or certain emblem synergies and stuff, you're not getting any like huge amazing benefit out of them, so it doesn't particularly matter.
that's fair. What do you think? I guess. Okay, let's say emblems are added in to competitive because I think they would be. I imagine they would be. I don't know if there's a way they could give you like how you can have every item at level 30 in the circuit or whatever. I wonder if they could give you access to
Yeah.
all
If
emblems,
they
I guess.
yeah, my thing is if they end up adding emblems into competitive, they'll need to have a whole nother like page area where you can get any kind of emblem no matter what on it, and you just have to create your sheet. And but like that just feels like too much work,
That's
honestly.
fair.
Like you'll need like a whole tournament emblem page or something in the game where you have all the emblems unlocked, every like bronze, silver, and gold versions of those emblems, and then like you just like choose which ones you want to add to your sheet. Like it'll be in an ideal like emblem page thing, but that seems like a lot of work. Like that's not something like you can just like edit and add during like the like picking your Pokemon, like the minute that you get to pick your Pokemon, like when you would be able to like switch out your held items and stuff in tournament mode.
Yeah,
Like
I
that's
get you.
too much to try to like set up that whole like a whole emblem build thing during that time frame. So it would just be weird.
I get you. I think I
And
follow. I feel like emblems are like you can notice them when you have a good set on, but if you don't have a good set on, it's not like the whole game is ruined kind of thing. It doesn't feel like, oh, I don't have 6 brown emblems on my Machamp, I'm gonna lose now. It's like whatever kind of
yeah,
thing. They don't feel like that. They feel like I notice some. I guess like I feel like I notice when I've got like the black cooldown stacks on. And then
Oh yeah,
maybe if I have like attack, like the brown attack stacks and enough attack that's like an extra attack weight stack. Other than that, I don't think I notice anything else. I don't notice the hindrance reduction. I don't notice any. Like I just barely notice anything. So the only ones I really think are like that good, anyways, is like black, brown, green, and then if you can stack crit rate and like movement speed, maybe could be like good to stack. But I really don't think
yeah.
emblems are that big of a deal.
It's yeah. The only emblems that are worth anything now because crit rate's been nerfed like so much that it's basically
Oh,
not viable to go the crit rate emblems. The only ones that are really worth anything right now are, again, as you said, the black ones are the only ones that you'll really notice because it still isn't quite balanced all the way. The green emblems and the brown emblems, just because of how damage is calculated in this game versus defense. And then
mm-hmm.
white emblems is like a secondary thing because health is just always good.
Yeah,
But
white
the
seems
rest
pretty
of
good too.
the
But
Yeah, the rest of these are just like really bad. What is it? We're still stuck. I mean, we have five. We got one new pink emblem, which is cool and all, but like you're still not getting the maxed out pink synergy yet. At least like we can hit tier 2.
yeah.
But until you get like maybe all 7 pink synergies, you're not really going to particularly see much pink. Not to mention that you still need to get it like some more dual synergies with it, like mimes pink and brown, pink and purple. You'll need like more of those so that people can actually incorporate pink in builds. Uh, Navy's another one where I feel is in a weird spot right now. Of course, we only have the 3 Navy emblems being the Dragonite line,
Yeah.
but like once you get the 7, like once they actually have 7 Navy emblems, it's going to be a little broken, I feel, because 4% reduced Unite charge rate on top of like an energy amp or something is going to be a little broken on Charizard.
Oh yeah, totally.
So like I'm a little worried about that and see how like where all that goes down the line. But then you're stuck with freaking like the red emblems and the yellow emblems, which are useless. I mean
Useless. Yeah.
nothing's more useless than these red emblems. I don't know. Attack speed in this game, I wish they would like just do a full like overhaul of attack speed. I hate this bracket format thing that they have for attack speed, and it's just terrible to try to play around. Not to mention all of your hold on. There's only 3 items in the attack speed, or in the red emblems. There's only 3 emblems out of here that actually increase your attack, and every single one of them have like bad negatives. Now, you want to
Oh,
know
that's
how many
great.
special attack increases that you have?
A million for no reason.
Yeah, you have 4 special attack increasing
That's
for the red. Like it's just so bad. And then the things like the you even have 3 of them that are like minus attack on this. Like this is it's just I don't know. I don't know who made up the red emblems, but they really just said like everybody that's trying to go attack speed. Like this
that's
game does
screwed.
not want you playing anything with attack speed.
The
I think
only
some LD Hoopa builds use attack speed. Yeah. Again, like only certain mons even benefit at all from attack speed. Duraludon is, I guess, the biggest one that benefits from attack speed. But even then, on Duraludon, you're only adding 3 red emblems, and then that's it.
just to get something, and then you're just leaving it alone. That's funny.
Well, no. It's because you for Duraludon is because you know how attack speed is calculated, right?
Not
In this
really.
game.
It's actually really confusing. I don't know
Yeah.
exactly
So
how it is.
attack speed is calculated in I call it brackets. So basically, just like in movement speed, you have like a specific number that your attack speed is. Uh, Within that specific number, like let's say, we'll just give you an example. Like say your number is 55.
Hmm.
You're going to be in the 50 to 100 bracket for attack speed. So you're only going to go. So it doesn't matter if you have 55 attack speed or 99 attack speed. You're going to have the exact, or that number is 55 or 95. Like you're going to have the exact same attack speed because you're in the 90 to 100, or I'm sorry, the 50 to 100 bracket for attack speed. So for the attack speed emblems, and this also works with muscle band, it's not about like, hey, you're increasing your attack speed. It's, hey, am I increasing my attack speed enough to put me in a new bracket? And then, not to mention, there is a physical cap on attack speed, like just in general. So things like Cinderace that's going Blaze Kick. Like Blaze Kick Cinderace, you get a massive increase of attack speed after using the move.
Mm-hmm.
That actually, once you hit 11 with Muscle Band, you already cap out your attack speed, like the physical cap of attack speed that the game gives you. Like no matter what else you do, you're never going to get more attack speed than you do right then.
So it's worthless.
It's basically,
It's
yeah.
basically
So
that's crazy. I
so
didn't so
only on so only on certain like Pokemon is this worth. Like Duraludon's the only example I know off the top of my head where you'll add where you add 3 red items if you really want to play the Pokemon to like the maximum. And then you'll actually have a benefit. I believe it's you get this benefit from like level 6 onwards uh if you're going what's it called, if you're going muscle band plus the 3 red emblems, like you'll see the increase in attack speed from level 6 onwards, because again, you gain attack speed as you level up in the game.
mm-hmm.
So there's some weird instances, I think this is on A9 as well, where like if you go 3 red emblems plus muscle band on A9, like level 6 you'll see an increase in attack speed, but on level 7 and 8 you'll not see that increase of attack speed.
Because you just like balance out into the same bracket, right?
Yeah,
Kind of
because it
thing.
balances. Yeah, it's like because it'd be like naturally if you're just like running muscle band on Ninetales, like level 6 Ninetales could have like 95 attack speed, but once you throw on the red emblems, that level 6 Ninetales will now have like 102, so it's in a new bracket. But once it levels up to, but it would have already have hit that 102 attack speed once it leveled up to level 7. But now when it levels up to level 7, it'll just be like 112. So like not nearly enough to get to the like 150 that you need to get to the new bracket.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It literally just sounds like way too complicated to be worth
It
it.
is. It's
It's
it's really
really
complicated. It's really dumb. I think there's a whole spreadsheets out there that tell you
yeah.
like, hey, what is your actual like benefits if you're trying to run attack speed on stuff.
It's like super,
Uh,
I guess, super niche kind of like it's like Duraludon, and then I guess what like you said, Hoopa, Eldegoss, and then that's it. I
yeah,
guess
and then
if
like
you
A9.
solo them and if you solo Duraludon in competitive or something, and you have an emblem build, then sure you figure it out. Otherwise, just stack Brown or something.
Yeah. Again,
Basically,
like yeah, you're also, especially since there's like limited spots unless you want to make more money. Like I'm sorry, unless you want to spend more money, you're
yeah,
better off just doing like the general builds for like cooldown, attack, and then like a tank build.
yeah. I got like two more other slots. I've got like 5 slots. I've got a create work in progress one that's not doing really good. I've got
Yeah,
a brown
I'm
one
gonna
that
drop
has enough
my
attack to like get an extra attack stat. Was the whole thing I was going for like my Lucario, Machamp, Serena stuff, whoever I stack with. And then
yeah.
I've kind of messed around with like stacking all blacks and then trying to get as much movement speed as I can, so I have to like cool down and movement and like see if that's impactful. I don't really know how impactful the little numbers are when you like the equipped
You
stats, I
talking about for
guess.
movement speed? Yeah.
Yeah, like
I mean,
I
it
don't
all
really know
depends.
how impactful it is. My set's got like 200 something movement speed, but I just don't really feel it that much in
200
gameplay.
movement. Yeah, 200 movement speed basically equates to an increase in movement speed by 2% throughout the entirety of the game. So generally movement speed, like baseline in my head, you because again each Pokemon has a different movement speed, but it's not by much.
Hmm.
Like my base number that I keep in my head for what movement speed a general Pokemon will have in Unite is 1,800. So like round that up to 2,000, and then you can say that Sorry, my music just like changed, so I'm just gonna make that chill out. You know what? We'll just pause music for a second.
Yeah.
Uh, so again, like basically just think on average, the base movement speed for any Pokemon's going to be right around 1,800. So that 200 that you're getting an additional of, that's about 1 or 2% additional movement speed. Which it's like it's not particularly bad. I know Indie Bear is he very much likes the movement speed emblems. Not the movement speed emblems, but like additional movement speed,
Yeah.
like the stat.
Just yeah, the raw stat.
Yeah, the raw stat. It's I mean, if you can get it on there, like sure, like add it on there if it's not gonna like stop everything, but don't let it be the end all be all.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more or less a secondary priority, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And then what? Flowstone gives you 20% move speed. So
Yeah, it just
that's
increases your movement speed
significant.
by 20. Yeah, it just increases
Okay.
your movement speed by 20%. So that's looking at again, we said like what is it? 200 was basically 2% move speed.
Yeah.
You're looking at like 500, 700 if you're talking about like the actual number that it's giving you, which again
Okay.
isn't particularly bad, but yeah, we'll talk about floatstone whenever we actually want to talk about held items.
Yeah. So it's I guess yeah. So all the emblem, I guess I'm just gonna call them the raw stats, don't really matter too much as long as you're not like -20 special defense or something.
Yeah.
As long as
Yeah,
you're
definitely.
somewhat
I mean,
close
you
to like
always want to
single digits, I guess you're fine.
yeah, you always want to make sure that you're in some you have some positives
Yeah.
on your stuff. Here, I can give you an example. I'll show my own. I can't because I'm on my alt account, and I'm not going to bother going onto my main. But just make sure you're like positive in the stats. But like, watch Indie Bear just did a video recently on the new stats and the new emblems and stuff for Pokemon Unite. I
Mm-hmm.
highly suggest watching that if
Definitely
anybody
need
is
to. Yeah.
interested on it. Like that, it's Ender School stuff. Great videos, really knowledgeable about the game. Like everybody should be watching those videos and learning from them.
Mm-hmm.
You want to move on to something else, or is there anything else you want to talk about as far as emblems
I
go?
feel like that kind of covers things. Like, hopefully it's non-competitive. If it is, it's not the biggest deal.
Yeah. Oh, the
Black
other
being the good one.
yeah, the last thing I want to talk about is, did you know that you still can't get the View emblem?
Yeah,
There's no way
what?
to get the View emblem. So
There's
yeah,
just why? Why is that? Why did they
because
do
it's a
that?
mythical, I guess is their way of doing it. It's
Even if
just
you have gold of every emblem, you're still not able to get Mew yet. They're just gonna
I mean,
wait.
there's
Is it the
just no way to
same thing
earn
as
View. I'm
Mewtwo?
curious. I mean, you can get Mewtwo.
Yeah,
Mewtwo's in the pool. It's just Mew is not in the pool
yeah.
of the emblems that you can get out of the gotcha thing. So I'm curious about like what they'll do to finally like release the Mew emblem, like if there'll be an event or something.
That's so weird. As like Mew is like one of the only ones that like I'd love to be able to get Mew and Mewtwo on like a full black stack
I
set
mean,
because they have
yeah,
cooldown. You already get the extra cooldown. I mean, it's only
it's
1.2, I guess, at gold, but still, I was like, what? That's
I mean, no,
funny.
no, no. It's stupidly good. If
That's
you
really
add
good.
that onto like the emblem builds, into the black emblem builds already, like they're dumb good, and it makes up for the fact that they're both minus health too. Like, yeah, I would still like throw this on any special attackers that I'm running.
Mm,
Like, I'm actually happy that they don't have Mew out yet. So then I'm not like worried too much about people like having both of these. But
that's
I mean,
fair.
even still, like you're gonna end up getting like some broken builds once they come out, like where we have the Cramorant that has infinite cooldowns and stuff like that.
Air slash
Yeah,
dive
the
duck
infinite,
assassin
yeah,
cram.
yeah, again,
Dude.
yeah. I don't want to deal with that again. I hated that.
I just heard about it. I was cracking up because I love duck assassin.
Yeah,
That's what I
and then
call
what
it.
are
I
we
call it
doing? We're
duck
talking
assassin.
about you want to talk about held items now?
Yeah, let's talk about held items. So, what all changed? It was assault vest, floatstone, shell bell, leftovers, and rocky helmet. Right, the bad ones that all got It was like
Yeah,
8 instead of
your
8
Rocky
seconds out of
helmet left.
comment.
Yeah, there was four. It was four of them. I think you added an extra one. Shell Bell didn't get changed.
Oh, sure. Okay, so
So it was, yeah. So Rocky helmet, leftovers, assault vest, and float stone all got changed. Basically, just reducing the cooldowns for the out of combat.
like when they reactivate or
And then
whatever.
yeah, and then Rocky helmet just had some stat changes
Oh, okay.
to
So
it.
what do you think these how do you think these items are now in current builds? Like, do you think any of them are good? Any of them make like a niche, or are they all kind of bad?
Two of them have a niche, but that's only because of how the meta is right now. So assault vest, it has its niche now. You can reliably run assault vest right now because basically in every single one of your games, you're going to be either dealing with a Mew Glaceon or a Mr. Mime, all
Mm-hmm.
of which are special attackers. Like, since you know what you're most likely going to be up against in Pokemon, like in your game, since you know you're up against special attackers every game,
Yeah.
like it just make. And I think looking at UniteDB's tier list right now, but like you can see here that Assault Vest got moved up to the C tier just because, yeah, it just because of how the meta is. Rocky Helmet and Leftovers
Oh, I
still the
see.
most useless items in Unite. I hate Rocky Helmet. I just hate as a thing. Like the just everything about Rocky Helmet is just dumb to me.
Yeah. It's I liked it when the
Oh,
game
they did
first
buff
came
it.
out.
No,
They
they did
didn't?
buff it. They did a shadow buff to it at some point. It used to be the internal cooldown on Rocky Helmet used to be 10 seconds. Now it's 2.
Oh, okay. That's
So
like a little
that's
better, but still
Yeah, that's a lot better. That's a
a little
lot better,
bad.
but I still hate it.
Yeah,
It
still.
still it the way that Rocky Helmet procs is you have to basic attack somebody after taking 10% of your max HP in a single attack.
Mhm.
What? It's a single attack too? It doesn't. Oh my gosh, I hate Rocky
It
Helmet.
just doesn't
Why?
help for like multi-hit attacks
So
or
many
anything else.
requirements on Rocky Helmet to activate.
Just a basic attack it'll activate, and then Lucario is gonna run up, you basic attack you, and it activates, and he's gonna power up punch you, and that does nothing for you.
No. Oh, the basic attack won't activate it. Yeah, I was like, if you're playing like a Snore, because again, you would be running Rocky Helmet on like your Snorlax, your Trevenant, something like that.
Yeah,
Like, if you're running, especially with the emblem builds now, like if you're running really high HP, which you should be, like you're gonna end up in situations where you're taking damage, and maybe that doesn't proc. Maybe it does 9% of your max HP, which again is a decent amount, 9%. But it's again, Rocky Helmet's again not gonna do anything for you.
yeah. It's just so much worse than like a focus band, assault fest, even if
Okay,
half the
like
team is special attackers, or just
take
Mew solar
you're
beaming
taking
you randomly.
yeah, you're taking anything else. Like it's
Yeah,
just this is an item. This is an item that has way too many requirements for honestly not even that good of like benefits. Again, like hitting somebody for 5% of their maximum HP is like okay, but it's you can still do better. Like
yeah,
again, you have the other items that are good. Like you have focus band that you're wanting to put on. If you're playing tank, of course you need buddy barrier. I don't know. Weakness policy is just hey, you can get that same basically that same
pretty much.
damage increase, but it's going to be like every single time you go into a fight, and it's going to be a lot more reliable than Rocky Helmet.
Yeah, and then
I don't know.
leftovers is just still it doesn't do enough. They would need to. I
Yeah,
think they need to buff the healing on leftovers a lot to ever make it decent. Like the out of combat,
it's
sure. You're a supporter in lane or something. You're taking a bunch of damage, and instead of grabbing the berry, you can sit under your turret and get the health back. That could be cool, but it's just like it does so little healing.
my thing is I wish leftovers just worked like passively.
Yeah,
Honestly, like lower the healing that you get per second. Like make it maybe 0.5 or something of your max HP per second, and just make it so that it's just always active.
Just every second you get. Yeah, I would like that.
Just
That could
every
just be
sec,
useful.
just turn it into an actual like, hey, this is an HP per second item.
Yeah,
Again, you're not gonna get big increases, but it's gonna be active all the time, and you are going to notice it. If
I
that
could.
happens, that this will upgrade viabilities for so many Pokemon. If
I feel
that
like just
happens,
any Pokemon that wants to roam a lot would be so much better. Like even just like random junglers that want to roam, I feel like could if they have the slot open, could run leftovers. They could go fight, roam a lot, farm, and get back to full HP, and then just go right back in, not have to base
yeah.
or steal berries or just go in at like half. I feel like that could be
Yeah,
like
I'm not so sure about how viable that would be because I mean, you
yeah
still
yeah
also
yeah
have
yeah
the lifesteal that you get from killing, or I'm sorry, the HP that you get from killing like wild mons
yeah.
or so. And I think there's too many items that as a jungler that you need to
Yeah,
have
you
on.
definitely need yeah. But like I guess like a roaming support, like a Hoopa
Yeah,
roaming or
I
something
could
like
definitely
that.
see like a roaming support like running this item, or for me, it's just I'm still thinking like your tanks just straight up
Yeah.
like let's see here. I want my supports and then my defenders. Can I have both of you guys up here? Like, you're looking at Blastoise viability jumps up from this. Wigglytuff, especially. This was the first one that came to mind. Wigglytuff, like, you would
Hmm.
see. You would probably people would start running Wigglytuff. Like the main problem that you have with these specific defenders being Wigglytuff, Mamoswine, and Snorlax, like their biggest downsides that these three have is the fact that they have no way of recovering for themselves. Like they don't have any innate forms of like healing. So unless you're running Focus Band, which again only procs once every 90 seconds and it's only when you're low, like they either have to be on pad or something, like they just get chipped out too
Yeah.
easily as a defender, where like stuff like Mr. Mime that you're seeing now, Slowbro, Blissey, Trevenant, and even like Greedent, they all have some ways of like healing themselves up, making them viable.
Hmm.
Okay, and
But
then
I don't expect that item to get buffed anytime soon. I guess the so Score
I mean
Shield
it
got
got buffed.
nerfed kind
They're
of.
trying.
They're trying, but they're just not.
Yeah. Yeah, Score Shield's
Sometimes
been
they have a rough time buffing things and nerfing things.
yeah,
Sometimes I can't figure it out. So Score Shield
yeah.
is Score Shield worth it on anybody? I guess at this point because it used to be like perfect on anybody almost. It was like a top. I felt like a top four item in the game. Like you could just slap it on any build.
Was. It was.
It totally was.
And then it got nerfed to where shields do not stack on top of score shields, which that was sad.
That's so sad.
And then it basically dropped all viability because at the same time it got that 20-second cooldown nerf as well.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, it has an internal cooldown of 20 seconds now versus like before it was only like 5 or 10 seconds.
Dang.
So it was a huge cooldown increase, and then you have the fact that shields don't stack on top of it. Lowered its viability a ton. I will say though, and you'll see this here on Unite DB's tier list. I mean, it's in a B rating now, and you see that it just recently got increased.
Yeah.
It's definitely so much more viable now because of the new map. It got an indirect buff because of the map viability, because now the first 8 minutes matter so much more because it's Rayquaza is your last thing,
Hmm.
uh,
Not Zapdos
not
giving you
Zapdos.
instant free perfect
Yeah.
ganking.
Yeah. It's not yeah, you're not worrying about it's not Zapdos like guaranteeing the enemy team like scores 500 points or so if
Yeah.
they get it. So like the first 8 minutes do matter as far as making sure like you have the level lead and everything else. Or
Yeah.
not the level lead, but like the point lead and everything else there. So it's definitely is viable. I wouldn't run it on quite every like character or something, but there's definitely like some that you would run it on. I expect to see this on like your anything that's trying to like back cap most of the game. Like I can see this definitely on some Greedents and stuff now,
Hmm.
or some like Goal Getter Crustals, or your back capping Talonflames or Dodrios.
Oh yeah, totally. That makes sense. What about like I guess the stacking top laners? Would any of them run it still like Lucario? Oh, I guess it doesn't. It used to be good on Lucario because it stacked with his steadfast, and now it doesn't. And like, I guess
Yeah,
Lucario was just fast enough to do it anyway, so I guess probably not. But would it go?
yeah.
Would it go on
I mean,
anybody else?
you're looking at I don't know. Like if you're just trying to get stacks for your attack weight and stuff, I guess you can do it, but right now there's just other items that are probably better. Like as you said for Lucario's are basically running like just 3 damage items right now.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at attack weight, muscle band, and like razor claw is I believe your standard Lucario builds.
Hmm.
But I mean they can run these other items. Like this is just something like you'll see. I see it in my games as well. It's just randomly added to a ton of different mons.
Yeah. Just in case they want it. I feel like the nerf makes sense in mind of of how they changed Rayquaza, because Rayquaza just is a score shield. It's a massive score shield, and if you had score
Yeah,
shield and buddy barrier, it's if like imagine like a Crustle doing his old ultimate, his unite move with the score shield with Rayquaza stacked, you literally can't stop him for the rest. Like 5 people using unite moves on him wouldn't be able to break that shield. That would
yeah,
be
it would be
ridiculous.
difficult,
That
but I
it
mean,
makes
now
sense.
we just have more true damage now. Is the way to
True.
stop
Yeah, I like that.
people with big shields.
Yeah, I like that.
Which,
So it's still niche. That's good. I like that. And then it seems
yeah,
like all the other stacking items are about as good as they usually are. Like attack weight's good because there's a lot of physical attackers that can stack pretty easily,
yeah,
like top laners and stuff. Ao's cookie is neat. I feel like Ao's cookie is good with a good like white emblem build, just for more
yeah.
HP. But other than that, it's kind of like niche-ish. And then
Oh yeah,
the glasses are like good, I guess, if there's a special attacker who can stack. Sure. Probably not though. They're
yeah.
probably not
It's
using it for a special attacker.
yeah. It's just if you really want more damage on your special attackers, then yeah, go attack specs. Basically every single special attacker though is getting more value out of choice specs. Like
Oh yeah.
it's just you're talking about something where you don't need to worry about stacking it with a lot of special attackers, especially they have high special attack to begin with.
Hmm.
It's just that their abilities have low scaling. So like they get less out of special attack specs, which just increases your flat special attack value. However, because their moves have low scaling anyways, they're not seeing a like direct correlation to the stacks that they're getting versus what can end up or what they're seeing increase in the damage moves versus like choice specs, which is just going to be a huge extra chunk of damage that they're getting out of it.
Hmm. And then I guess the rest of the items, Buddy Barrier got nerfed, but it's still good on like it's just not used on everybody now. It's still good on tanks, so still good
Yeah,
item. Shell
yeah.
Bell is good with the cooldown builds. I see like it's like a sometimes on the cooldown builds, like
It's
the
Shell
cranberry.
Bell is one of those things where so right now you have Glaceon, who if for anybody who hasn't played the game for like the past month, uh Glaceon is effing broken
Yeah.
right now with the Icy Wind builds, and Shell Bell plays a big factor in that. Because of the extra CC reduction that you're getting out of Shell Bell.
Mm.
So thanks to like if you go full cooldown plus Shell Bell in your thing, plus blue buff, you add those 3 things together, you can actually have a Glaceon that just doesn't lose any of her stacks during Icy Wind. You can just constantly keep them up. So a Glaceon's walking into a fight with all 8 of her stacks up, and then if you time it correctly, because again, the Icy Wind's a move that goes on cooldown as soon as you click the button.
Mm.
However, you haven't done the damage yet, so you can actually just be hiding in a bush with this move with Icy Wind. You use Icy Wind, wait like 3 seconds, so the cooldown's about to come back up again on Icy Wind, and then you suddenly basic attack somebody, releasing all those stacks on them. Immediately go and hit Icy Wind again because the cooldown just came back up, and then you can immediately hit them with another 8 stacks. So that's like you hit somebody with 16 Icy Wind Ice Spears in like the span of 2 seconds, and that like just one shots any squishy.
And you're dashing at them, and you've got like
Yeah,
freeze
and
dry
you're
to,
dashing
to,
and
to pop them
everything
and maybe
else.
freeze them. See, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I love
you hit them with freeze
Glaceon. This
dry
thing's crazy broken.
for the 50% damage increase. Like Squirtle, I'm sorry, the jungler from my current team, Squirtle's Den. He's been running Glaceon, and we're talking about on app, like just straight up, like bare minimum, he's doing 100k damage in all of our games whenever he goes. Whenever
All
he goes,
right.
yeah.
Oh my lord. It was funny.
Like as long as he doesn't get like super like heavily invaded early game and like he doesn't like fall behind, like you're guaranteed at least 100k damage on Glaceon as long as you like know how to play it.
That's crazy. When I first started playing again, I think Glaceon was this not the newest character, but the second. It was like Buzzwole had just come out when I started. Well, after I took like
Yeah.
a break, I started playing again. I loved Glaceon for like just Icicle Sphere. I thought that move was broken when I was playing her, and I thought that was still the move set. I was like, because I just didn't like Icy Wind at first. I didn't like do any research, and I was hearing Glaceon's broken, and I was like, it's not. It doesn't feel like this Icicle Sphere is that broken. And then I accidentally clicked Icy Wind for one game, and I was like, oh. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, this is so. I've been doing everything wrong. All right, cool. This is what's happening.
Yeah. It's a
It's
little
crazy.
busted. Any other items that you want to talk about?
Um, I guess Energy Amp's a lot better with cooldown right now, and just
Yeah.
crazy one shot potential you have with like hitting a Unite move and then just going crazy, destroying everybody. So that's a great one right now.
Yeah, Energy Amp's pretty good right now. You're seeing what is that? EXP share is getting used more by people, but EXP share has always been a good item.
Yeah.
Uh, Again, Floatstone is really good for if you're playing an invade strat or something like you're invading the enemy team on their first rotation or on their first jungle rotation. Floatstone's really good, especially because of the buff. With now it's 5% out of combat. It takes only 5 seconds out of combat to get the increased movement speed. It's a pretty darn good item
Mm-hmm.
on your invaders. Other than that, that's basically it. I guess everything else has basically just stayed the same.
Cool. And then I guess let's go over battle items real quick. The Great Slow Smoke era has been felled.
Oh yeah, slow
I
smoke's not
hated
used
that.
at all anymore.
Yeah.
I wish slow smoke became like I didn't. I mean, I kind of hated it, but I also didn't. Like I wish the item got increased again.
I wish it
I don't
stayed
know. It's
relevant.
like
Yeah.
yeah, we're in a weird spot right now where like you're looking at all these like escape or buff items for your character. And all that's viable, but like the only because again, slow smoke was the only debuff item,
Mm-hmm.
and you just can't run it on anybody because it's just so bad. I don't know. It would be nice if it was just better. Like they might be able to revert the nerf that they gave it a while ago, and then it could maybe see viability again. And I don't think it would be broken like it was back then either.
Yeah. I hated seeing it being so widespread, but I did like it overall. I like the option of having a debuff like a debuff item. I
Yeah.
think I imagine that the meta right now is like full heal, X speed, flash, or eject button are the three. There's some builds that have like X attack, like a couple builds that have X attack, potion on like very few characters, like a slow bro, maybe
Yeah.
an AG slash, um,
Yep.
and then Fluffy Tail. I guess Gold Getter's also kind of niche, and then Fluffy Tail
Yeah.
Slow Smoke just like not used.
Basically. Yeah.
Pretty much.
You're right on the money there.
Cool. So then I guess that leaves just the Pokemon for the rest.
Yep.
Coolio. Let me
I
build.
cannot make my own tier list. Is there a tier list maker? Do you have one?
I've got one. I've got one up on my screen. I'm showing you my screen, so you can see what I'm
Well, I can't
doing.
show my stream it. I cannot show my people to your screen.
Ah, that's true. Let me
Hold
see
on.
here. Let me
Hold
send
on.
you the link to this.
Yeah, send me the link.
It even has the newest Pokemon that were data mined like earlier today. Did you see the new?
Let's go. I did. I apparently what is you know what? I'm not gonna say anything for in case spoilers for people that wanna
Fair enough.
not get spoiled.
One of them is
But
one of my top
wait,
6 favorite Pokemon
I
ever.
guess we did just yeah, I think we did just spoil it because they're right here.
Oh,
Uh, but yeah, Zeraora and
Zoroark.
Sableye, or yeah,
Yeah.
Zoroark and Sableye.
Zoroark's one of my top like 3 favorite Pokemon of all time. So I'm so hyped. And Sableye's cool. That's a cool one. Getting
Yo, what's up,
there's a lot
Oni?
of Gen 3 Pokemon. Oh, what up, Oni? How was that, dude?
Yeah, I'm currently talking with Slane right now, and we're going over, I guess, tier list, I guess, for the current meta. So where do you wanna start with this? Do you just want to go in order with how they have it here, like Venusaur first?
Yeah, we could do that.
All
And
right.
I guess we'll do like talk about the Pokemon's role, like what lane they go in, what they do, a general build, what build or what builds are good. Like it's just move builds. Items doesn't really. I guess you could probably touch on if it's like super important. And then they're wherever they go. I have my list as like A or S, A plus, A, C, and then F because there's never a D tier. I don't know why people keep asking for a D tier in tier list. It's weird. Keep
Well,
asking for the D. I don't understand.
well, the D is the F for me. I'm too lazy to edit that out, so it's my D is gonna be your F.
Oh, I don't have a B tier.
Uh,
Whoops. There we go.
let's see here. Actually, let me change my stream title. But yeah, so you wanted to talk about Venusaur first?
Yeah, we can just go. We can just go in the order of how it is, how it's
Yep.
presented.
Oh, are we talking about in? And is this specifically for solo queue or is this for 5 stacks? Because that will like
That is,
change a lot of the rankings.
I would say, I kind of want to do both, but I'd say 5 stack preference because solo. I mean, solo queue is like
All right,
you
five
get an
stack, yeah,
idea.
five
Yeah,
stack preference, but like call out if you think
yeah.
it should be higher or lower for solo queue.
Notes,
Gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha.
I think I've got an idea of how I feel about everyone within the solo queue standpoint, and then I want to see how the meta is, and I'll just be like, oh, I thought this. I always, like, oh, this Pokemon seems really good in solo, but in fives it's not. I'll call it out.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right, Venusaur, I can throw him as like a straight B tier Pokemon.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Problem with Venusaur right now is just because of how. Wait, hold up. Can we here? We'll change this up a little bit. Can we just agree right now? Mew, Glaceon, and Mime are all
Just
S tier.
just get him in. Yeah, I was gonna leave him in the S
Just get
tier
them in
and
there because
just
because the reason why I put Venusaur in B tier is simply because you have Glaceon and Mew, and just straight up like if I feel bad if you're not running Glaceon and Mew. What on earth are you doing? Like, there's no
yeah.
reason why you're running Venusaur instead of like Mew specific. Like, all Mew is a better
It's
Venusaur
just a
right
better
now.
Venusaur. Yeah, I have those three, and I had them in S. I'm gonna put them in the SS tier. They
Yeah,
it's their meta right now. Okay,
yeah. This is
what do you say the
definitely
order of these three is?
order of the three right now is I'll put Glaceon number one, Mime number two, and I'll put Mew as number three.
Maybe number three.
Mostly
Okay,
just because of skill cap stuff here. Like
fair.
Glaceon's the easiest one to do. Like as long as you have the builds, like you're gonna easily do extremely well with it.
Push the button, counter three. There you go.
Exactly.
You don't even have to do
Like
that. You'll probably be
they
fine.
just fall in there.
Yeah.
Mime is like in the same way as it's just oppressive. You're not beating a Mime in a 1v1.
Oh,
Like you can
absolutely
be
not.
2 levels above Mime and you're still not beating it in a
It's,
1v1.
it's so stupid.
Which just
Dude,
makes
why?
Mime like incredibly good right now. Like as long as you're hitting your skill shops with the power swap, as long as you hit those, you're winning basically like any 1v1. Like because I'm playing Mime right now as a defender,
I
and
killed
like
you.
I basically just play it as like a second all rounder that's just super tanky.
I hate Mime so much. He's by far the most toxic of these three. 'Cause the dude just won't
It's
die.
definitely on there. And then Mew is just like it's the highest skill ceiling.
Yeah,
Like
it's squishy.
if you're dummy, yeah, if you're dummy good on Mew, I can put that as number one then. Like, but the skill floor for Mew is also like pretty low compared to it. So that's why I'm having it in like the back, because that way Mew definitely becomes a skill based Pokemon. But the boosted auto is dumb and I hate
Oh
it.
my
And
god,
there's no
that's.
reason, just no reason why a boosted auto should be able to do over 4,000 damage.
Dude, I die at half health as like all rounders. Like
Yeah.
I'll be like Aegislash in shield form, and I die at like half health
Yeah,
because Mew
exactly. Yeah, I
autoed
was
me. I'm
like,
like,
it literally
what?
you can do.
Sure
Yeah, the
hit.
Mew.
I'm running away from it. It's just I hate
Yeah,
it.
it can do. It's I think I've seen it do over 4,000 damage
That's
on it,
ridiculous.
and it's a ridiculous move. Late game, you go Surf Mew. Oh, I'm sorry. You start off Solar Beam Mew. You chip the enemy team in the while they're doing the Ray, and then when they actually close in on you, you just switch to Surf Mew, and then you're just nailing people with boosted autos by like surfing them away from you and then run dashing in the other direction, and it's just absolutely dumb, and you're hitting people for like 4,000 damage, and then they can't even catch up to you.
It's ridiculous. These characters
Yeah,
are. I'm putting him in the SS tier, and I'm giving it the nickname of Horse. It's the Horse tier.
yeah. But again, I guess back onto our original
Yeah.
conversation with Venusaur.
So Venusaur B tier.
Yeah, Venusaur, I got him B tier. Solar Beam build is like fine. I still think that if you're going Solar Beam, you're better off going the Giga Drain instead of Sludge Bomb. Like Sludge Bomb just makes you way too squishy. But I
Mm.
guess in a 5 stack setting, as long as you can as long as you have a really good like front line that's defending you and you're not worried too much about back line, you're fine to go Sludge Bomb. Petal Dance Venusaur just feels bad right now. If you're it's for me, it's like if you're going Petal Dance Venusaur, why not just run an all rounder?
Fair. That's fair. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Venusaur has been so good for so long. That's why I was surprised to hear it because I don't really I haven't played. I played him a little bit and I was just like I didn't really pay attention to how good he was. And I was just like, oh,
yeah.
he's fallen off.
He,
That's a first.
yeah, it's just he's there. Like if I would say if Mew and Glaceon weren't as broken as they were, I could buff Venusaur up into A tier.
Yeah.
But just because of how broken Mew and Glaceon are, it's just you're not
There's
doing anything
there's
with
no
it.
reason. Yeah. There's no reason.
Gengar. Gengar is an A tier Pokemon,
I was
in my
expecting
opinion.
that.
And again, we're talking about again, this is set up for
Yeah.
5 stack
Five
setting.
stack.
Gengar is just okay. Again, you want Glaceon as your jungler right now, or you want something that's going to like counter Glaceon, which Gengar can kind of do, but you can also get really put behind on Gengar.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as like the enemy team is playing around Gengar well, like you're kind of screwed as a Gengar player. Solo queue though, I would put Gengar as an S tier
Oh
Pokemon.
yeah, totally. S tier.
If you're
He's broken.
Yeah, if you're just trying to win your solo queue games right now, like you just want to screw everybody over, go Gengar as a solo queue player if you're solo queuing, and then just stomp all over any Glaceon or Mew that you have to go against.
Yeah, I mostly play right now with my roommate or my roommates, and like they haven't played competitive, but they've been master before, so they know what left what they're doing. And one of them pretty much solos Gengar jungle, and it's just stupid. He
Yeah.
does some stupid stuff, but I always feel like Gengar has the kit that's not really designed for 5 stack. He's like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
walk up
exactly.
one shot something and then walk away, and in 5 stack it's just like, how do you one shot a group of people? You can't. You can kill something and then you're dying immediately, and you kind of want a jungler that can
Yeah.
do. I can one
Yeah, and
shot
then
things
as
and
a
then run
jungler,
away as Glaceon or something else, or just kill everybody else instead.
yeah. Uh but yeah, both movesets on Gengar are also good. If you're going
Mm.
Hex Gengar, then screw you. I hate you and your family. Uh, if you're going Dream Eater Gengar, at least you attempt to play skill based. At least you're like attempting to try to add some skill onto this character.
Yeah, you're at least aiming. You're aiming
Yeah.
Shadow Ball. You're aiming at the least. Yeah.
Moving on. Snorlax. Snorlax A tier. Snorlax I also have as a tier mon for 5 stacks. Snorlax is an incredibly good, like versatile support right
Mm-hmm.
now. You're like right now the build for Snorlax is as well. You're running Buddy Barrier, Focus Band, and EXP Share. So the fact that you can run EXP Share on Snorlax without like any demerit, like there's no other item that you're particularly wanting on your Snorlax. So the fact that you can just run like EXP Share Snorlax is a huge bonus. You can jungle invade with Snorlax pretty effectively, just because you're running X speed anyways for a lot of the stuff because you're going the heavy slam block build if
Yeah.
you're running it as a support.
Like speed block is
And
so
you can
funny.
yeah, it's just you're really good early game. So like let's say like Team Drip right now, us as a team, our main 5 stack that we're running is Glaceon, Mew, Mr. Mime, Snorlax, and Charizard.
Oh,
So it's
interesting.
just
Okay.
we have a incredibly like we're just running an incredibly and just Snorlax just works incredibly for that. You go Snorlax and Charizard in lane together. Snorlax is a really good laner, which helps like the demerit of having Charizard in lane with you.
Mm-hmm.
Snorlax can stop jungle invades very effectively. Like there's just nothing somebody can do against like tackle on Snorlax early game. You just don't want to really deal with that. Snorlax has rest, which is also really good for early game as far as just being a heal. It basically Snorlax is a great way of making sure that like the enemy team does not put behind your Glaceon and your Charizard,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just incredibly effective. Not to mention, like block is dumb.
Yeah.
Block is just a dumb move, especially on the new map with so many. Now that the new map have so many more walls, I have such an incredibly fun time putting people up against the wall and them not being able to do anything for 10 seconds.
It's funny. I feel like this map has so much more grass too. So like Snorlax could just like wait in grass and then just pop out with a heavy slam. Like
Yep.
he could. Okay, so
Yeah,
I
you
like
heavy
XP
spam
share.
like
That's cool. I really like that.
yeah. XP share because one of the main problems that you had on Snorlax beforehand was if you were running the heavy spline block combo, you were having an extremely hard time securing farm or just like doing farm in general because it took so long for you to like physically do farm.
Yeah, that's fair.
So just having EXP share on your Snorlax just like gets rid of that, and all you have to worry about for the rest of the game is like, hey, how can I annoy the enemy team?
Mm.
How
You
can I
got
screw them over and protect my own team members? Like Snorlax also does a great job against like Hex Gengar, by the way.
yeah, makes
Because
sense.
as soon as Gengar starts like sludge bombing onto your own teammates, as soon as you see the sludge bomb go out on your enemy teammate, you immediately heavy slam that area, and then you immediately use block right on top of your teammate.
You
As
just
soon
have-
as that happens, if the Gengar decides to actually like hex on that teammate, they're going to get one hex off and then immediately get hit by your block. So they'll get a little stun there, and then that should be enough to like just basically rip a Gengar.
That's hilarious. You just walk up and like no.
Yeah,
That's funny. That you guys' team comp makes me like. I'm so interested in hearing about the supports later because I mean Mew feels like kind of a support with like coaching and light
yeah.
screen. Mime
Coaching's
is
very bad, by the
mime
way.
is half. Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, you're not nobody. The moves that you're not running on you right now is going to be it's basically like Electro Ball's niche, and
Uh-huh.
coaching is just non-existent. There's no reason to run a coaching when
Oh
you
wow.
could either run light screen or light screen or agility. Like those two moves are just so
They're
much
just
better.
so much. Okay. And then Mime is
Yep.
like half support, half tank, half all rounder, half I'm gonna
It
do
just
whatever I
does
want.
everything, and
I'm
it's
gonna do what
so
I
versatile.
want. I'm
Yeah,
Mr.
it's
Mime.
like do you want to support? It's like Mr. Mime is the character, like, hey, is your Glaceon like destroying everybody out of their mime? Yes? Cool. Let me just power swap Glaceon so they do an extra 20% damage, and then nobody can dare try to stop her. Sorry, did your Glaceon get put behind, and now you need to go ahead and step up as like the main character? Cool. Let's go ahead and let's power swap the enemy team, and then let's do a four-man unite or something, and then guarantee a kill on one person, and then probably get the other two super chipped, or if not killing them. Like, it's
Does
just Mr. Mime can be whatever the heck you want it to be right now.
does full heal get rid of power swap?
Yes,
Thank
yes,
the
that is one of
thank
the that's one of the best counters to it. But you
hallelujah.
see, full heal is a 40% cooldown on it. Power swap has like a 3 or 5. I think it's a five
Yeah,
second
so you're
cooldown.
getting it off you, and then it's coming back. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's like you're taking it off you, and then it's like immediately getting put back on it.
That's hilarious. XP
So
sheer Snorlax. That's super cool, actually. I really like that.
yeah,
All right,
EXP share Snorlax is the wave. It's the meta.
who's next? I'm gonna.
Uh,
I have my headphones on as I step away from my computer, so I still hear you. But just keep going.
yep, no worries. Gardevoir, I guess, would be next here. Gardevoir is like it's either C or D. I'm gonna put it C tier. Gardevoir, you're running at jungle. You're definitely running at jungle. You're not gonna run it anywhere else. If you're running lane Gardevoir, you're kind of screwed in
You're
that
throwing.
lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gardevoir suffers a little bit the same way that Venusaur is, where like, hey, Glaceon and Mew exist, so why on earth would you run anything else?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but Gardevoir, uh, you know what? I'll run. It's like Gardevoir just has the potential. Its late game is just really good. It's just
Yeah. It's
everywhere else is just so terrible. So like in a 5-stack setting, and since we're talking about it 5 stacks, that's the only reason why I'm putting it in C tier. Is like if you're running a 5-stack and your team's like can keep a Gardevoir like not super behind and it can get its stuff, the ulti is still super impactful late game. Like you can win games off of it. You have good kite with Moonblast. So yeah, I'll leave it in C tier. Solo Q, I drop it down into D.
that's fair. Yeah. I know it evolves at level 8 now, but it still doesn't get you Unite Move at level 9, so it doesn't. It's just like cool. I guess level 8's a little bit better. That doesn't really do much for
Yeah,
you.
it's
And it's just
definitely it's good enough because it means you can tick into your ulti.
yeah.
Like, if the fact that you don't have to like make sure you kill something or score to tick into ulti, is really nice on Gardevoir. Like the level 8 evolution like really helps impact does it well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a Glaceon and it's not a Mew, so
Yeah,
you
that's
can't
fair.
put it any higher.
I was expecting like a B or C tier. She just doesn't feel as good, and it feels like every other special attacker is just great right now. So it's just like, yeah, it doesn't. I didn't see her being. I feel like all the other special attackers with mobility are just strictly better than. That's kind
Yeah,
of what I imagine for like all the special attackers that have zero mobility are just not good right now. They're just outdone
yeah,
by everybody else, including the top three.
yeah. Absol's next. I put Absol in A tier. Again, basically the same. I put it. It's definitely above Gengar. Gengar is like at the bottom of A tier right now.
Above
But
Gengar, okay.
Absol's a really get. Absol's like the. Absol is just like a good counter to the Mew Glaceon combo.
Mm-hmm.
And this is again for 5-stack setting. Like if you if you just want to run like an anti comp against Mew and Glaceon, like Absol's like one of your best options for it. Our own jungler, Squirtle's Den, he's running Absol right now, or he's learning Absol right now as a counter to Glaceon and Mew. I mean, of course, we're going to be running our own Glaceon and Mew instead, but if
Yeah,
we ever enter a tournament where stuff is banned, or like we're doing like pick bans and stuff, and then we can't run duplicates on the side, like we got the Absol like just there to kind of counter it.
the backup.
It's
Yeah,
just very good. You're looking at a jungler that's you don't have to worry about getting jungle invaded on. If somebody dares try to jungle invade an
You
Absol, they're
gotta
screwed.
beat them up.
Yeah, like they're just screwed. Absol is just really good early game, so
Yeah.
you can kind of like steamroll games off of that fact. Uh, it's just whether even moveset wise, like the pursuit moveset's really good. Night Slash moveset's really good. It just, excuse me, it just depends on like a skill level kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like as long as you get good on it, like you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
We've had games where Absol like just kind of wins the game for us because they can just dive in on a Glaceon or a Mew late game. Especially Glaceon, Mew can kind of like alter yourself out of any situation, which is kind of dumb, but it is what it is.
It is. That's broken. Yeah, Absol feels great, and he's my favorite or second favorite speedster. I guess Dodrio might be my favorite right now, but I love speedsters. They're probably my favorite class, my favorite archetype. I love Absol as a Pokemon too, so I play him all. I love playing him just for fun, and he feels good. It feels like you can mix his moveset however you want, but he's not a team fighter really. His ult's like good. His ult seems good, and it seems like he can maybe like
It's,
blow
he's
up two or
basically
three.
a get in there and get out of there
Yeah,
kind of thing.
run
Like
in there,
you do
blow up
your
one or
job and
two,
then
get
do
out.
something else. Yeah,
Yeah, and with blue buff pursuit, you're going all the time. You're rolling all
yeah.
the time
I
from
will
like.
say though, in solo queue, I would drop Absol down to a B tier. Like Absol's just really good, and when you're in a coordinated 5 stack, and like you can separate the fight so that Absol can like one shot the squishies without having to worry about like a mime or something screwing it up,
That's
or
fair.
again like a Snorlax like screwing up, like blocking it and CCing it so it dies.
Yeah, that's fair. Would
Uh,
you say Snorlax is better than Absol, or is it kind of minute? I mean, they're different. They're completely different roles, so it's kind of hard to rank.
yeah, it's. I would say they're definitely different. I
You know what
might
I
put.
might?
You know
I
what? Yeah, I'll put Snorlax above Absol right now. And as far as like as a tier, Snorlax is just way more versatile than Absol is. Like you're only running Absol as a counter to like the current meta and stuff and the
hmm,
squishies.
this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna separate my list the junglers and the laners. I'll have like two B tiers, two A tiers, but I'll have a list for the junglers and a list for the laners. I think I'll do that for me.
Yeah, I'll keep
I
stuff
like that.
in the same thing here. Do you want me to go on with the next one?
Yeah, you can go on.
Garchomp D tier.
Yeah, that's
That's
fair.
all I gotta say. Garchomp is honestly I could say is the worst Pokemon in Unite right now, and I would not feel bad about it.
Again.
Yeah,
Again.
it's just really bad.
Yeah.
Lucario. Lucario, I'll throw A tier.
Oh.
Lucario is a very good like early game again because a lot of the game right now, like early game is super important to this game right now because the late game has kind of been nerfed because it's Rayquaza instead of Zapdos. So
Mm-hmm.
early game is just that much more important. Lucario has options to it. You run it top lane and you do like your standard Lucario stuff. You can jungle invade Lucario. Of course, you have the skill ceiling of E-Speed Lucario. Like that's still just as broken as it's always been.
Mm.
Like if you're a stupidly good E-Speed player, like you're always gonna have you're always gonna be very successful.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to say about it. I might put I'm just gonna leave my thought. I might put it right here. It can still get shredded if it's not able to stop Mew and Glaceon from getting OP. It
Yeah.
does lose as long as Mr. Mime hits its skill shot on Lucario, like hits the
It's
power swap on Lucario, it'll beat Lucario in the 1v1. However, if you're running E-Speed Lucario, it makes it very hard to hit that skill shot because it's just dashing around every which way.
mm-hmm.
So that's one thing to keep in mind. I'll put Lucario above here. Snorlax, it even does well into Snorlax because you can E-Speed past Snorlax block.
Yeah, you just dip. I mean, just like you just ignore him and get through, blow everyone else behind him.
Yeah. Next one that we
I
want to
guess
talk about.
I have A plus tier and A tier. Do you think I should I keep that? Should I just keep it A tier? Like, do you think there's a gap between people where like I need to separate the A tier and the?
Definitely, I would put Snorlax and Lucario in A plus tier, and then Absol and Gengar in A tier.
Okay.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Azalea. So Azalea just said, I feel like ranged attackers are just too good at keeping people away, especially with the blue buff and stuff and the cooldown changes. That's exactly the case, and I'll talk about that more with a certain Mon. I'm looking at her right here, but I can definitely talk about that later once we get to this Mon.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick, and I'll catch back up with you in a second if you want to keep going with the next one.
Go for it. Okay. Who is actually I need to reopen the tier list so I can see who's next because I totally unordered my things. Let me just reset this. See who's next. Okay. Oh, let me just reset this. See who's next. So we talked about Venusaur, Gengar, Mime. Yeah, we talked about Mime, Snorlax, Gardevoir, Absol, Garchomp, Lucario. Crustle, baby. It's Crustle time. Okay, Crustle's going. Where's Crustle? Where's Crustle? Here we go. Dude, there's no way Crustle's ever B tier. There's no way Crustle's ever higher than C tier. Is score comp only, and I. Is it still the best score comp defender? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I will Wiggly. Maybe run a Greedent, but Greedent's probably not the defender. So it'd probably run a score comp. I don't even know if score comp's a thing anymore. It could be, I guess. Score comp's good for like the early game, so I totally could see it with like you're still running a Dodrio jungle. What would top lane have? You could see top lane. Maybe you run Talonflame. Maybe like a Talonflame
Okay, I'm back.
Crustle top lane. So next was Crustle, right?
Okay, yes, Crustle.
I can't see Crustle being any higher than C tier unless score comp is really good right now, which I could see it being
it
kind of good.
if we're talking 5 stacks, I'd put it in B tier.
Wow, it actually is.
Yeah, Crustle. If it's solo queue and anything else, I can put it in C tier. But in 5 stacks, Crustle's definitely D tier. It's just you're looking at a mon that's the only viable way that you can play it is again doing the score comp kind of strategy. But like it just gets absolutely shredded anytime you click your shell smash button
Yeah.
and there's a Glaceon and a Mew around.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes total sense. Yeah, I was like, I don't see this thing, even in score comp. I mean, I guess they would run it as, well, score comp always has what, like Wigglytuff, Greedent, Talonflame. Well, I guess it would be Dodrio instead of Talonflame now. Or maybe both. You could run Talonflame and Lane. And
Yeah.
then I guess you could have a Crustle on team for score comp. Maybe Absol's could be a score comp
Yeah,
of
again, like
one.
if you're using it, it's going to be a very like niche strategy,
Yeah.
and then it's you got like other options if you want, if unless you're going like full score comp.
Is score comp good right now? Is it a good strategy overall?
It, not quite like not full score comp. I've seen people run like hybrid
Mm.
score comp. Like you can run it kind of hybrid and be kind of successful. Like have like one person that's like whole thing is to try to back cap.
Okay, like if you had like a jungle Dodria who's gonna come
Yeah,
and gank, go
yeah, like
back
where
cap, and just
you're
keep running the whole time, kind of thing.
Yeah, basically, if you're running right now, the thing is, it's like if you're trying to do a back
Oh, that's
capping
guys.
mon, they also need to be like a jungle steel mon.
Yeah. So I guess like what you're greeding.
Yeah,
It's
like
pretty much just like your
you have
greeding
some
going.
Greedents, you have your Dodrios, you have Lucario can kind of flex into that.
Yeah, that makes
In
sense.
Japan, go back and I haven't looked at they're not they. I mean, Japan's just doing crazy stuff in general,
Japan's always
Azalea.
weird, man. They're
Yeah,
weird. I never
but
know
their
what's
meta is
happening in
just so
Japan.
different right now. I know like Japan right now is super into what's his name? Cramorant. Like
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah,
I don't know why it makes
they
sense. It just
really
does.
love Cramorant right now, so like it's like while us in America are all freaking out over Glaceon, Mew, and Mime. Like they also just got like Cramorant
Yeah,
somewhere in
Cram.
that mix.
Is he? Do they jungle Cram or do they lane Cram?
Probably both.
Yeah, I can see
But
both.
I
You can
mean,
do whatever you want.
I haven't paid too much attention to it.
I remember. I
I guess
remember when I played competitive. Japan was running like 2-1-2 top lane or bottom lane Absol. It was funny to fight
yeah,
3-1 to fight a 1-1-3. It was funny. It was
yeah,
just like what, but it made
exactly.
sense kind of. I need
They
to
just
watch more
they
Japanese
got
Unite.
different methods. They got different methods. That's all that it is. What is it? Next one, Greninja. Uh, it's like I can put it in A tier.
A or A plus.
Just straight A.
Okay.
Again, you're looking at it in. It's not bad. It's not particularly amazing. Again, you're looking at it. It's being suffocated by Glaceon and Mew and stuff.
Can you handle Mew? Can you handle Glaceon Mime Mew? A
Like
tier list.
it's like if you're not, yeah, it's everything right now kind of revolves around like how it either how it synergizes with Mime, Mew, and Glaceon, or how it handles like dealing with them.
Yeah.
As an opponent, like Greninja, just it has its ulti. If you manage to get it like ahead early game, that's cool, and you can probably like solo carry a game off of that.
Mhm.
Really hard to do. Its first form is really susceptible to jungle ganks,
Yeah. That makes
which
sense.
that's just really in the meta right now is like jungle ganking with something.
Yeah.
And
That makes
so
sense.
like again, I'm playing a lot of Snorlax and Mime right now. Like when I run Snorlax,
You're getting in there.
I love, and I see that there's a Greninja jungle on the other team. I'm in that jungle all day
You're
because
just
that Greninja
chilling.
ain't gonna do
He's not
shit
doing
to me.
anything to you.
You know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking it might be better than that, but that makes sense. I feel like 80 carries get bursted so hard, and 80 carries are playing the long game almost. They're shredding you down, but you're not burst. Like I feel like this is burst meta, not shred meta,
Yeah.
because
What did I
these three are
do?
all bursting you.
There we
Who's next?
go.
Talonflame,
Talonflame.
Birdie.
Talonflame, I'll put it in B tier.
Okay,
Talonflame,
tier jungle.
you don't want to, yeah, it's like, honestly, I've seen more success with Talonflame in lane than I've seen it in jungle.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's just you don't want it to be your jungler. This is the case that you make with Cram, or not Cram, with Crustle,
Hmm.
where you're using Talonflame right now. The most success I've seen with it is it being like a back capping Mon running Fly Flame Charge. You don't want it to be your jungler because you don't want it hogging all of that EXP that you could be giving to like a Glaceon or something instead on your team,
Hmm.
and instead have it as a lane Talonflame. Whatever lane it's in will suffer a little bit, but as long as you're a really good Talonflame and you can get those levels, again, there's a lot more farm on the map, so it's more reliable to hit that 7.
Hmm.
And then as soon as it hits 7 and it gets Fly Flame Charge, it does pretty well into Glaceon Mew. And then you can spend the rest of the game like goal getting back caps and stuff.
Hmm.
It's just again that really bad early game kind of makes it suffer because you got to worry about like, hey, do you feed the Glaceon Mew Mime combo? Like, do you just feed that too much?
Yeah, that's fair. So you'd say it's a better laner right now than a jungle. Would you put it B tier laner still?
Yeah, it's B
Okay.
tier in lane, but like it's just like B tier overall.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's just like it does really good on countering Glaceon and Mew. Like as long as you don't fall too far behind. Don't run Brave Bird, by the way. Brave Bird is garbage. Always
That
run the Fly Flame Charge.
it feels bad. I don't know. I tried it once and I don't know. Things are just wrong. Everything is wrong.
Yeah, it just feels really bad.
Aerial still felt great, but it just felt Brayford felt wrong.
Yeah.
Felt like I was doing the
Next
wrong thing. Who's next? Yeah.
one. Charizard. Uh, Charizard's an iffy one. I could put this. It's definitely A plus on your list. But I'm debating about whether or not to put it in S tier or not. I can, you know what, I'll put it at the very top of like A plus tier.
As a laner or jungler or both?
Uh, Both basically. Again, you're seeing it's more common seeing it
I
in
have to edit
lane
this.
because it's your Glaceons that are all over jungle.
Mm-hmm.
But you can run it both ways. You can run it jungle or in lane. It's going to be highly effective. Has a really fast unite charge rate, especially if you're running cooldown emblems. You're definitely running like energy amp on it. Uh, it's just there's so much stuff that you can do with it. The main benefit that you're getting from Charizard is, of course, the ulties. You ult something, you ult in a team fight, you're definitely killing at least one person. It doesn't matter what it is. And most likely, you're killing multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
But the other big benefit of it is the fact that you have true damage. True
Yeah, that makes
damage is
sense.
so important for this game, especially late game. You just can physically stop people that get Ray from capping, allowing your team to like break their shields, and that's just like it's a super important and a super it's just a really important like strategy and something that you can have in your back pocket
Yeah, that makes total
too,
sense. I was
as
expecting
like
like
another limitation.
I was
Yeah,
totally expecting A plus or S tier. Even just the fact that Unite move flies over all of the walls in this map feels really good too.
yep.
Even
And
like
even though they
the
did,
getting to Rayquaza feels, I don't know if it feels easier or harder because instead of having that one central hallway, you have the two, but you can't just run straight forward. You kind of have to go up. I guess you do have those little speed boost when parts which help, but like you just completely
yeah,
ignore those like two, I guess, gap walls on the right and left side of Rayquaza, and you can fly over the back wall of Rayquaza. If yeah,
yeah.
there's a lot
They're
of
not.
walls and
There's not
just
really.
you ignore
Yeah,
it.
there's not nearly as many. What is it? There's not as many choke points to
Mm-hmm.
get into Rayquaza now, which is really nice. Like it's a lot easier if you're
Oh,
like
it's so
behind, like
nice.
to get inside it.
Quick tangent. This map is so much better.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
It's so
love.
much better. Rayquaza is so much better. The farm is great. I love all the Reggies. Regieleki
Yeah,
actually whoops you now too, which is funny. So you can like
yeah.
you can
I
walk
like
in
that.
Reggie
I
by
need some
yourself and be
buffs.
good.
Yeah, I need some buffs on my Reggies, but
The
oh,
bottom, yeah, the bottom Reggies definitely need a little bit of help, but they're still nice. It's still like
yeah.
something,
I don't
and
know.
it's yeah,
Reggie Steel and Reggie Rock. Maybe buff Reggie Rock a tiny bit, but like not too much. Maybe give it an extra like 5% on defense and special defense.
yeah.
Uh, just because of how
Ice,
defense special defense is counted. But Reggie Ice needs just a full blown rework.
yeah,
Reggie Ice does nothing. It is the worst. All it basically does, besides the EXP that you get from it, is you're looking at like a 30% heal whenever, like immediately once you get it.
yeah. It's
And
like
so
you
if your
get
team's
that
just
from
like, oh,
killing
oh,
anything, anyways.
yeah, exactly.
It's just
It's
like
just
what
not.
what? It's yeah. Give it.
Yeah, it's just not.
Give me like just give me leftovers for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. That was what I would like if it had
But passive,
it
not out of combat. Like just yeah, give me passive leftovers for a minute. We're good.
exactly. What is it? We have Zero Aura now.
Hmm.
Zero Aura, I would put in B tier.
Oh, okay.
Again, it's basically it's not as good as like an Absol or a Gengar. You can lane Zero Aura, which is just fine.
Hmm.
Uh, it's not like amazing. I don't know. It's just like it's a decent counter to Mew Glaceon. You can like one shot them with your ulti and stuff. You can go wild charge, and then you have the invulnerability frames to like make sure you're putting out a whole bunch of damage
Hmm.
and that kind of stuff. Like it does a good job of countering the meta.
Just a little bit
Uh,
worse. Just a little bit worse than other Pokemon. Like little bit worse than Absol. A little bit worse than
yeah,
Lucario. A little bit worse than Snorlax at being because I could totally jungle invade, but just a little bit worse at all of it. I guess.
no. It's just the jungle invade on Zera is also pretty bad
Oh, okay.
because it's like, well, the thing is, it's Zera is too squishy. Like
Yeah, that makes sense.
you get so you're looking at like you're either choosing agility or slash. Like if you're trying to get there without float stone or something, you need to go agility. to get there, so then you don't have slash to like trying to confirm the farm.
Mm-hmm.
If you use slash, then maybe you're going X speed or you're using a float stone. And then if you're doing that, you might lose the 1v1 against it because again, Glaceon can get their 4 off of just doing the back boltways without even touching her buffs yet.
Mm-hmm.
So if they already get 4 or something before you take one of the buffs, you're most likely going to end up dying. Or even if it's like they hit their 4 and they see that you're taking the buff and you manage to get it, but you die as soon as you get the buff, again, they're still getting the buff and they're getting the EXP from killing you, so you didn't
Yeah.
put them behind at all.
You just fed him. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's just
I'm
like
so
Zero
glad they
Aura is
finally
really
buffed
hard.
his Unite move, so he's level 9 instead of 10. I feel like he needed that so much.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's definitely a lot better now. Uh, I like it's just he's a little more consistent in lane, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah,
You have him as your jungler as well. I don't know why you would do that over again, like Glaceon or something
Glacian.
else, but
Yeah.
you can have him as your jungler and it can work out fine.
Yeah, he feels like a totally fine laner. That's like if anything can lane, might as well just do it. Even Charizard to
Yeah.
me just feels like he's a great jungler, but if he can lane, just lane him. Give jungler to something
Yep.
else.
Cinderace, I would put him. Cinderace is in B tier. And again, you're suffering from the fact there's not much I can say about Cinderace. It's just, hey, Cinderace is not as versatile as Greninja, and is definitely not better than Glaceon Mew.
Yeah.
It's just like, hey, if you're running, if you don't want to run Glaceon or Mew as your jungler, then you run Greninja. If you're not, if you're, why would you run Cinderace over Greninja at this point? It just doesn't do well into the current meta.
That's fair. Where would you put it in regards to everybody else in the B tier?
I just have it at the bottom
That's fair. And then I have Zero
because
Aura
again, you're
at
not.
the top.
Yeah, I have Zero Aura at the top, then Venusaur, then Talonflame, then
And Cinderace.
Cinderace.
Okay.
Eldegoss now. Excuse me. Uh, I don't know. Eldegoss is B tier. It's not. It's not amazing at anything. I probably C. I don't know. It's like B or C. You can take your pick your poison.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not bad for I'll put it in C tier just for 5 stacks
Yeah.
reasons. Uh, Main problem with Eldegoss right now is again if you're running this core of Glaceon, Mew, Mime. If you add an Eldegoss to it, you're just adding a third squishy, which balance wise it just doesn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same problem that that Hoopa suffers right now, which as a support, you can't. It feels bad to run a squishy support on top of a Mime Glaceon because if the enemy team is running like Dive, like Pop Lucario or E-Speed Lucario, or again like the Gengar Absol, you're just giving it another really good target for them to get EXP on and and get stuff on. But what is it? Leaf Storm is still very good move. I mean, it's the kit and stuff on Eldegoss is just as fine as it always has been.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you have better supports right now to run,
That
and
makes
then
sense.
you're like putting your team comp a little behind. In solo queue, I can put Eldegoss in B tier, but in 5 stacks, I'll just keep it in C tier.
Yeah, that makes sense. It just doesn't feel. It's like lack of. There's just not the role for it. I feel like that makes sense. There's literally no role for it to really do.
Yeah.
Nothing that can't be done better, or just a different role that's more useful.
Yep. Cramorant now. Uh, Cramorant is an A tier Pokemon for me. Not A plus, just like straight up A.
Straight A.
I Yeah, I put it like right behind Snorlax. Cramorant is freaking annoying to play against. Like, if you're, I don't know, if Mew is banned, you might as well go like Cramorant as your as your attacker
Mm-hmm.
or something. It is fine in lane. You can also do really good in jungle with it. Like it's a decent mon. Both movesets are viable. You can go dive, air slash, or you can do surf, hurricane. Unite moves really good. Uh, there's not much I can say about it. It does a lot of burst damage. It plays well against you, Glaceon, because of the burst damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can just kind of hide in a bush so that they don't see you, and then like you just hurricane surf them, and they're kind of just dead.
Oh, it's Hurricane Surf. It's not Air Slash Dive.
I mean, both move sets are
Anything?
viable.
Okay, you can pretty much do
Yeah,
whatever you want. Okay.
yeah, you can. I'm just saying, yeah. Like I think on Team Drip we primarily use Surf Hurricane if we decide to like fool around and play Cramorant,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more of a case of uh, we're just not as experienced with Dive Hurricane. But I think Dive Hurricane is also just really good. It's probably a little bit Dive Hurricane is probably a little bit weaker because it's not as burst damagey as the other builds. So like if you're running Dive Hurricane, I'm sorry, Dive Air Slash, if you're
Yeah.
running that, like you're more liable to get like just like popped by Glaceon
Mm-hmm.
versus popping a Glaceon with Surf Hurricane. But it's not bad. Uh I guess moving on. Blastoise D tier.
My
It's
boy, no,
yeah.
my
Oh, don't worry.
boy.
We just got data mine leaks of the new patch. Blastoise is gonna get some massive buffs, and I'm looking forward to that. He might be viable then.
Rapid
But
spin
right
or
now
surf?
he's surf. That's the and
Ah.
early game. It's just its early game is getting really buffed, but like surf
Okay.
hydro
Oh.
pump is getting buffed.
Okay.
Rapid spin did not need to get buffed. It's the surf hydro pump. His actual thing that we can make him into a defender. Do
Fair
not
enough.
hate on my boy Blastoise. I'm ready to play him. I just need this man to like be good. But they're planning on buffing his early game a lot, like his early game damage a lot, which is what he needs.
Yeah, he feels so squishy as Squirtle, and like he feels like he's almost trying to be an attacker, and then
Just
evolves
he's
into
not.
Blastoise, and he completely turns around and turns into an all rounder, but not a tank. It's
Yeah,
like he doesn't feel like he should. I don't feel like he's in the right role. I don't
yeah.
think he's
Right now,
in
it's
the defender
Blastoise
role.
has Blastoise has the problem right now. The main problem with Blastoise is that its early game is just so bad.
Hmm.
You're not particularly tanky, and you don't have an amazing secure. They're fixing that this patch, or what is it, next patch, with giving it a lot more damage on like water gun and stuff. So
Hmm.
its secure is going to be a lot better, so you can actually get into Blastoise. And now that they're also going to be buffing the Hydro Pump Surf variant, you're giving the CC option of Blastoise, which again is what tanks are going to be running. Is going to be the CC option. You shouldn't be running the damage option if you're trying to play it as a tank.
Hmm.
So like I'm curious to see what his viability is then, but right now it's he's just not viable as a tank or in any of the roles. Like in solo queue, maybe honestly I wouldn't even buff him in solo queue. He's just D tier.
Yeah, I played one game with it recently. It didn't feel very good. I think just
Yeah,
because Squirtle felt so bad.
yeah.
War
It's
Turtle is
like
like
solo
once you get
solo
rapid spin,
queue.
you're doing okay.
Yeah,
Or
solo
whatever.
queue. I can buff it up to like C tier or something in solo queue, but it's just gonna have to stay in D tier for 5 stacks. You just shouldn't. You're just trolling if you're running Blastoise in your 5 stacks.
Would you
Uh
put anyone else in the D or F tier higher than Blastoise? Like, would do you
oh,
think?
I have Crustle. I have it's Crustle, Blastoise, Garchomp
Gotcha. Okay, that's what I was
right now in that
picturing.
order.
Just because
Yeah,
Crustle can
it's
at
just
least
like
maybe do something.
Crustle. Yeah, it's like Crustle. You have a small niche that you can put Crustle in.
Yeah, I'm caving. I'm gonna leave the D tier just to avoid confusion.
There you go.
I also have Cramorant in
Uh,
in the tier between A and A plus called the Japanese S tier.
Japanese. There you go. Pikachu. Now I have Pikachu in B tier. Uh, it suffers the same way that Venusaur does. I just have it slightly above Venusaur because you have more CC on it.
Yeah, that makes sense. You could almost give it like some supportive utility ish for the
Yeah,
team.
yeah. It's yeah. I still put it behind Cram. I think Cram's just better right now than Pikachu.
Yeah.
Like it's like Cram and Pikachu. If you're running the again, if you're running the Hurricane Surf Cram, they like play the same exact role. I just think Cram plays it better.
Yeah. And Cram's got probably a better Unite move, right?
Yeah, I
That
would definitely say that Cram's Unite move is better. I mean, of course, you're stationary during Cram's Unite move, but I still just think it's better. Like
yeah.
it's more damage, and you can do it from like a safer distance than what people would normally do for like Pikachu's.
I've seen a potion Cram build. I'm pretty sure that potion is for the Unite move, and I actually don't hate it.
I'm
I
pretty
don't
positive it's for
hate
the
the
Unite.
idea.
Yeah,
I don't hate the idea.
I
It's
think
like
in
flash
five
to back
stacks.
up.
Yeah, in 5 stacks, you're seeing the flash.
Yeah.
Uh, we're gonna ignore. I'm ignoring Clefable because it's not out yet.
Yeah. Unreleased, coming soon.
Yep.
Caesar Scyther coming
Ninetales.
soon.
Yeah.
Ninetales.
Next one is Ninetales. Ninetales B tier. I have actually Ninetales above Pikachu and B tier. You know what? Hold on. Nah, it can stay in B tier. It can stay in B tier. Uh, Ninetales is better off than Pikachu and Venusaur. It has more versatility. I am. It does a lot more CC wise. It suffers from not having like any form of escape. Like it doesn't have any movement abilities,
Mm,
so you're not like a dive cram where you're running around or anything else. You're just
yeah.
kind of stationary, which kind of is bad that you can't kite, but again, you have good damage and good CC. My
I could
internet
totally
crapped
see
out again.
Aurora. I could totally see Aurora Veil working like with the Glaceon Mew Mime core. I could totally see that
Yeah,
working as like if you wanted if you really wanted to throw another squishy.
I've seen this is just my own personal opinion. I know that this is kind of a hot take. Hold on. Let me get my stream working correctly.
Are you on Twitch or YouTube?
I'm on Twitch right now. My it looks like my stream just crapped out on me.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, we just crapped out. All right, we are back live. Stop. Let's see here. Let me just double check to make sure we are up and running again. Looks like we are.
Yeah, it looks like you're good. I just jumped in.
Yep. All right, cool. Yep, that sucks. All right, so yeah, back to Ninetales. So this is my own like hot take on Ninetales. Uh, I like Ninetales as a support. Like, give me an EXP shared Ninetales with the Aurora Veil set. Like, I'm thinking you can run something like a Focus Bands EXP shared Muscle Band situation on Ninetales with the Aurora Veil Dazzling Gleam combo. Run it as a support, and you can do just fine with that.
I
You provide the extra defenses for the team and everything,
can
and
see
you
it.
just proceed. Yeah, you just proceed to just like CC the enemy team, providing a whole lot of freezes.
Yeah, and you still offer a little some good damage with muscle band and stuff. And dazzling gleam is
Yeah,
really just yeah. I could totally see that actually.
it's my own hot take. I know people definitely think I'm crazy when I say that, but like I'd much rather have Mew as my attacker than Ninetales. But like if you're trying to run a damage oriented support, Ninetales is definitely a big call out.
Mm-hmm. Would you say Ninetales or Zero Aura better?
I have Zero Aura above
Zero
Ninetales
Aura
right now.
above
Actually, you know what? I'll throw Ninetales in front of Zero Aura.
in front of Zero Aura, and then the junglers in the A tier: Absol, Greninja, and Gengar. Who do you what? How do you think that's ordered?
I have Absol, then Gengar, then Greninja.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. Let's see here.
Now I see
Wigglytuff.
your list.
Wiggly. Yeah, Wiggly is B tier. Where on B tier do I put it? I'll put it here. I guess that's a fine spot in between Zeraora and Pikachu.
Mhm.
Wiggly is okay. It's just we talked about this beforehand when we were talking about items and like held items. Wiggly can't quite fill the role of a tank because it doesn't have a way to sustain itself in fights. The CC is really good on Wiggly. Sing and Cute Charm passive is just super strong. Not quite as good against your Glaceons and your Mews because they're not like close enough to for the Cute Charm to like activate as often. But like if you're running up against anything else, like Absol, like Wiggly does a really good job into Absol because whenever Absol uses like Night Slash in like the middle of a team fight, Cute Charm can activate off Night Slash, and then Absol just kind of dies due to that CC.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just
Now,
a
just
solid B tier.
just
The Unite's still okay. Like you can run this as like a crappy tank, or you
yeah.
could run it as a support.
Mhm. I think I kind of see where the theme of tanks are going. Sustain tanks. Snorlax can sustain for a while, and eventually you just got blocked to help, and then like I imagine Trevenant, Greedent, Slowbro will all be good tanks. Mamoswine's probably going to run into the same issue of no sustain.
Yeah.
And then, like,
Uh,
Blissey can be a tank or a support still. That's kind of where I imagine things going from here.
yeah. Slowbro.
Oh, she is next. Nice.
Yeah, Slowbro is next. I'm gonna put Slowbro top of B tier. It's either top of B tier or like bottom of A. Uh, Slowbro, it doesn't do good into the meta because again, Slowbro is a really good physical tank, not a special tank against like
I didn't know.
Mew, like against like Mew, Mime, and Glaceon. If you get
Mm-hmm.
Slowbro to 13, then it's really good. It's just like you just can't do much on you just can't do like you run the risk of getting one shot on Slowbro, and that feels really bad.
Wow.
Because Glaceon Mew, like as long as like Mr. Mime hits you with the power swap and gets confusion off on you, which by the way, confusion debuffs, I'm sorry, psychic debuffs your physical or your special defense, and then Glaceon comes in and it does their damage on you, you're basically like dead.
Wow. Okay.
And
I
that
did not
feels
know that.
really bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just it does real it's like it's both good and bad. It just depends on like what the enemy matchup is, and you really do have to worry about it. Scald, you use Scald now only if the enemy team is running a whole bunch of physical attackers. Like if they're running this combo of like anytime I'm running Slowbro, if I see the enemy team has a Glaceon, Mew, and Mr. Mime, I'm running Surf that game.
Yeah.
I you need the more CC that thing, and then you need the mobility to like run around and run away. Hopefully, like you're playing bushes to your advantage so that you can try to heal up as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
It feels bad.
And then
Uh,
Amnesia is the other
Slowbro,
move.
yeah, Amnesia is always the other move.
Yeah.
Telekinesis is just a bad
Which
move
is
right now.
that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm gonna change my opinion. I thought about it some more, and I thought about some of the other mons. I'm putting Wiggly in C tier. I'll put it right behind Gardevoir in C tier.
Okay.
Um, Same reason. I just have other stuff I think I would prefer to put in B tier, and I'm like, this
That
does
makes
not
sense. Yeah.
stand up to that.
That makes sense. I mean,
Uh,
everything you just said
but
about Slowbro, who's another tank, and you're like, I was thinking about Wigglytuff. I was like, ooh.
yeah. Was it Machamp now? Machamp, I have C tier.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay, that's surprising to me.
yeah, Machamp's. It's just it's there. It suffers from a major problem of it has some dive, but it's not an amazing dive. Like again, block on Snorlax, Machamp's not doing anything.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair.
The Unite move is the only reason why I have it in C tier right now. The Unite move is still super strong,
Hmm.
but it sucks to be a Machamp player right now. You're probably one of the squishiest all rounders. And
Yeah, that's
so
fair.
Mr. Mime, like you always lose a 1v1 against Mr. Mime. Like no matter what you try to do, you're gonna lose that 1v1 against Mr. Mime. Mew can kite a Machamp out very easily,
Yeah,
and Glaceon can like one shot you fairly easily.
yeah,
Like
that's fair.
it's kind of a toss up. It's just it does really bad into it. It just does really bad into the current meta.
That's fair. I feel like I play him a lot in like lane solo queue, and I've had a fine
Yeah,
time diving the
trust me,
triple core, but
I'd
yeah, that
play
makes sense
Machamp
though.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
in solo queue, I'd put it up in like probably B tier
yeah, like
for
intermediate
solo
for sure.
queue, but like for 5 stacks, it's just Machamp's really is not amazing. Again, our top laner, Lily, is an amazing Machamp player. Just doesn't it, even she said like it just doesn't quite work out in this meta.
That's fair.
Yep.
That's probably the
Great.
most surprising one to me in a while. I think I've been kind of like, okay, yeah, everything else makes kind of sense. Oh, that's the first one. I'm
It
like, wow,
does.
okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it is. It's
it
one.
makes sense when it's explained. Just like thinking about it, I was just like, I thought he still felt really good.
Yeah, he's definitely. It's like I really want to put him higher because you have
Yeah,
versatility. It's all solo queue stuff like he does
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
In 5 stack settings, it's just he's not good enough. He doesn't fit. He can get heavily countered in 5 stacks.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, even like a Charizard's gonna be kite. Yeah, he does get kited pretty hard. Like Charizard's gonna kite him. Mew just cheap.
Yeah.
Glacier. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. Next mon, my stream or my internet's failing me again. Great. But that's whatever. Next mon now. Geez, I'm gonna have to turn off my like settings or something.
The stream's still up and
There
running
you
at
go.
least.
Yeah, it just came back on. I'm
All
just
right.
like my bad. It's just I'm worried about my Discord is gonna get like 1,000 notifications today because every single time that my stream disconnects and reconnects, it gets a new notification gets put on my stream.
All right, so Blissy's next, right?
Yep, Blissey. I have Blissey taking where I put Wigglytuff beforehand, so right in between Zeraora and Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know what? Hold on. I'll put Blissey just above Slowbro.
Right above
Blissey
Slowbro.
will be right above Slowbro, just barely there. Blissey just has it got nerfed when the map changed. So the healing's been reduced on stuff, and the you're not getting eggs as fast when you're going the double egg combo on Blissey.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the metagame, like the characters that you're picking are squishier with Glaceon and Mew. So like you're playing it as a tank mostly. It probably feels better as a support now than a tank. Honestly, it's just right now it's you're a tank with no CC, so that feels really bad. Or you're a tank with very little CC. The only CC that you're gonna have is if you're going Egg Bomb,
Mm-hmm.
and even then, that's not amazing CC. And plus, with the reduction of the with the reduction of like how many eggs that you're getting per second, you're just you're just kind of lackluster. You're not healing as much as you would be previously because the people are just squishier and people are getting one shot. So it's kind of hard to heal somebody when when everybody's getting one shot.
Yeah, you're just not keeping up healing.
Ultimate is still really good,
Yeah.
but there's not there's just it does a lot of things okay, but it's just nothing that it does okay would you are you like suffering for others. You're just always suffering from something else.
Yeah,
Like
that's fair.
it's an okay tank but then you're not having the CC on it.
Hmm.
It's an okay support, but now you're like a melee support.
Which is just awkward.
And again,
Yeah,
you're
that
not
makes sense though.
providing, and then again, you're not providing a lot of what you're just not providing a lot of CC or damage or anything. Like the only thing that you're really good for is either going to be your healing on on soft boiled if you happen to have a team that's actually on the tankier side and you want the extra healing, or say you need safeguard. Like if you need safeguard, then you're going to use Blissey. Like
Yeah,
if the
I could
team's
I
running
could
a
see
whole lot of
safeguard being good as like a somewhat mime counter. Just
yeah,
to like follow people around, just like get rid of it for a second, so you
it
can try to
actually
burst the
that's
mime down or something.
you're right. Safeguard is actually a great mine counter.
Yeah, it
But
doesn't
that's
feel like
basically
Helping
it.
Hand has anyone to really work off of because it was so good with like Venusaur and like Cinderace or Greninja in jungle, and now it's just like who do you Helping Hand?
Yeah. No, no, no. You don't.
Glaceon's
You
not
don't
really
use that.
using
You're
it.
definitely using. You're definitely using Egg Bomb no matter what.
Yeah,
Safeguard is actually really good against Mime. Now that I think about it, because Safeguard does cancel Mime power swap.
and it's
So if
pretty. It
Mime's
comes
trying to
up pretty
power swap
frequent,
this,
right? Like 7
it's
seconds,
8
8 seconds.
seconds.
Okay.
It's 8 seconds. So like Mime's getting more power swaps than you're getting safeguards, but at least you can stall.
Yeah, you can get
So I mean,
one,
it
and
just
then the mime hits the second safeguard, and if your teammate has a full heal, they can pop that. So you've at least got like time. You give your teammate time to deal with the mime,
yeah,
which can be cool. Because if you kill, I feel like if you kill the mime, the trio is now actually finally susceptible.
yeah.
But you
I
can't ever
guess
kill the mime, so it's just like whatever.
yeah. That's the other thing is Mamoswine. Mamoswine is Amon. It's really good solo queue.
Yeah.
Mamoswine I think is a really good solo queue mon. I'm gonna put it in B tier again, right in between Glaceon. I'm sorry, not Glaceon. Right in between Ninetales and Zeraora. Mamoswine, it's a good tank. It's probably one of your it's like a B tier on tank list.
Hmm.
Like it's not the most tanky, but it's not the most tanky.
If you didn't want to run Snorlax and you wanted to run Mamoswine at like code work kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Like you definitely could. It has really good like CC with
Hmm.
Icicle Crash and high horsepower. Your problem is just you don't have any form of sustain,
Yeah.
and that just sucks. And you're not like a Snorlax where you're hitting block, increasing your defenses, plus you get a shields.
Yeah. Plus you're countering
Uh,
something like a Gengar or something.
yeah, I mean your ulti is really weak on Mamoswine.
Yeah.
Ulti is just bad.
Yeah.
You're not Snorlax where you get like you're healing up all the way up with your thing, so you have like a second life with your ulti. It just kind of feels bad. Like the only viable way that I've seen Mamoswine's being played right now is with potion. But like if you just fall behind on Mamoswine, you're useless the entirety of the game.
That makes sense.
You
Is
just
the
you cannot fall behind.
is the goal freezing? I know it doesn't actually freeze or it slows down scoring. Is that useful at all?
It it is and it kind of isn't. You just don't notice it, especially during
Yeah.
like Ray fights. It's you're not freezing. Like yes, you can freeze a goal and maybe it can help, but like you're not going to notice it.
Yeah.
Most of the
That's
time,
that's fair.
if the enemy team has if they have the Ray buff thing and they're going at your goals, if the freezing time that you're freezing the goal for, probably like the extra time that you save doing that, you're not breaking the goal with that at all.
Yeah.
Like you're not breaking their shields enough during that time to
Yeah.
like make any difference.
It's so much more worth it just to spam everything on their shield and hope for the best instead of aim for the goal at all.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting that.
Uh,
And then all the early scores are so fast anyways that
yeah. It just
freezing
doesn't
a
matter.
goal when Lucario is trying to score five doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
then if you're in a situation where you're like freezing lanes, or where you're freezing goals when the enemy team's like super ahead, you're still a Mamoswine that's obviously behind at that point, so then you're kind of just screwed up then. Next one is Sylveon. I have Sylveon at the top of B tier. Not quite an A tier Pokemon, but it's just really good. My problem with Sylveon is again, it's competing with Glaceon and Mew.
Yeah.
It
There's
doesn't
just
quite work as a support mon, so it lacks that. It synergizes really well though with them. Like if you're looking for a 5-stack to go, like just hop into ranked and like steamroll your games.
run the trio, throw Sylveon in there, throw like a Charizard,
Yeah,
and you're good.
it's no. It's I've
Or
seen this
socks.
like early on in the meta. There was a comp when you were running. It was I saw it was a full special attack comp of people running like Wigglytuff, Sylveon, Mime, Mew, and Glaceon. Sylveon Hyper Voice actually reduces the enemy team's special defense. Same thing with Wiggly Sing, and then you have Mime also reduces special defense. By
Oh
the
my
way,
god.
this also affects objectives.
Oh no.
So you're doing objectives in like 1 second.
Oh
Like if all 6 of them are
no.
there, it's just like you do psychic sing on the objective with hyper voice, and then Glaceon's just kind of burning throughout that time, and then by the time like Mew Solar Beam comes out, it's securing the objective.
Oh my gosh, that actually sounds crazy. I love that.
Yeah, it's definitely if you're looking for
I
like a
hate it, but
fun
love
like
it.
ranked build to like just rank, if you're just trying to like screw around in ranked, this is definitely a really good build to do that with.
That makes sense. Yeah,
Uh,
Sylveon felt good. I was probably expecting more of like an A tier because she does have at least a little bit of mobility with like.
yeah, I could
Is it
definitely put
Calm
her
Mind
at
the
like
other move? Hyper Voice
yeah, I
Calm
could put
Mind? Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
what I was
Calm
thinking.
Mind. It's Calm Mind. I could
Yeah,
definitely put it at bottom of A tier.
bottom of A tier. Top of the
What
red
is it?
line.
Mystical Fire is actually getting some play in solo queue. Not really getting played in 5 stacks, but it's
Yeah.
definitely getting played in solo queue because Mystical Fire is actually the only move in this game that reduces special attack. So it's the only move that like directly counters your Mew, Glaceon, and Mime combo.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it can get played. It's not amazing. I still think Hyper Voice is definitely the better move, not Mystical Fire,
yeah.
but you can play it. Greedent is the next one.
Squirrel. Where's the squirrel?
Yeah. I put it in A tier, right behind Lucario. Greedent is annoying.
Hmm.
It's just like your top class Greedent players like Archu or Sandra Cheeks, like they make the character look like it's S tier. Uh,
Sandra Cheeks. I forgot about that. I forgot about her.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh man.
they make it look like it's really good for 5 stacks. Like you're never not going to be happy with like running Greedent in 5 stacks. You're not gonna immediately like first jungle rotation like invade with Greedent anymore. It's just too weak to do that first jungle rotation. I mean, you can attempt to, but it's like I would argue you have like a 60-40 shot of it working out for you.
Yeah.
Second invade though is really good. Like you just go top lane, you get your 5, and then like invade their jungle second rotation. You're just super annoying, and then you can always be on top of uh, Glaceon, Mew, Glaceon and Mew. They can't really do anything about you. You're running Covet, so like you can just run away from situations. You can mess around with the team,
Yeah.
with the enemy team. You can like psych them out. You can back cap. You can like you're just so
You're
versatile.
so irritating.
Yeah.
You're so annoying. How do you run Greedent's been a weird one because he like fills different. He fills a different role. He's always in the top lane, but he fills a different. Or not, I guess he's not always in the top lane. Sometimes I've seen him as like part of the bottom lane. So you still have a top laner.
You put them anywhere. You just put them
You just put
anywhere.
him anywhere. So like,
Honestly,
does he fill the defender role? Would you like your guys' team, for example? Would you swap the Snorlax for the Greedent and then still keep the Charizard and then the trio?
No. Well, no. Hold on, I'm trying to think in my head about what the thing is. You'd probably swap out Charizard in that situation for Greedent, not Snorlax.
Okay.
Because Snorlax is what's like supporting your damage
Yeah.
dealers, and then you have your Mime as your front line.
Okay, so
But
you
it's
so Green would fill maybe
he
the
feels more of
top
an
lane attacker.
all-rounder role. Like,
Yeah,
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 he fills up. You would use him as like your an all-rounder role because he's diving the back line when he's actually there in team fights
yeah.
and other stuff.
Okay, that makes sense.
Uh,
That's about what I expected. I don't think Green's ever gonna be bad.
yeah.
He's Green.
Let's talk about Decidueye. I think this is one of the things where I wanted to specify solo queue versus five stacks. I think Decidueye is really good solo queue. I
Yeah,
would put him like A tier, B tier, like somewhere in that situation. And five stacks though, he's C tier. Probably like bottom of C tier.
that makes sense.
It,
He has no
it's
getaway.
just yeah, it's well, I mean, he has a little bit of getaway. It's just he's just an inferior version of like Glaceon Mew.
Yeah.
He's the squishy attacker. You're running him, but like you're a squishy attacker and you're not doing as much damage as Glaceon and Mew. You need to make sure that you are getting ahead. Like you have your archery ability. I can't remember what it's called off the
Spirit Shackle.
top of my head. Yeah, Spirit
Yeah.
Shackle. Cool. You can poke people out from long range. Cool. You can do that again with Solar Beam, and
Yeah.
they can do it a lot more and be more viable than that.
And you can do it in lane. I feel like Decidueye it has to be jungle.
Yeah. Yep.
Early Decidueye sucks.
Yeah.
Feels awful.
What is this LD slander?
Sally Slender.
Yeah, Tech.
That doesn't
Dragonite now.
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, Dragonite I would put in B tier. I definitely think Dragonite is better than your Cinderaces. It's probably towards the bottom of B tier. It just suffers in the fact that like in solo queue I would put it higher. In five stacks you're not gonna want to lane Dragonite, so you'd have to put it jungle. So it's competing with all like with your Glaceons and stuff that you want in jungle.
Yeah.
The Dragon Dance, I'm sorry, Hyper Beam's been nerfed, where it still has the same like when you have it fully stacked, it still does the same amount of damage, but when it's not fully stacked, it just does a lot less damage.
Hmm.
Kind of bad for it because it's just there's so much CC in the meta right now that there's so much just damage in CC right now that Dragonite just cannot guarantee those three stacks.
Mm-hmm.
So it just feels bad like playing against it. Like Mamoswine is it's a really good counter to Dragonite because you can freeze it and then you can push it away from your squishies and then like cool Dragonite can't do anything.
Yeah, now I have to
And then
wait
as soon as
forever.
Dragonite loses and then as soon as Dragonite loses its passive, it gets shredded by like Mew and Glaceon.
Yeah.
I believe it also loses 1v1s against Mime. So it's just it feels really bad to play Dragonite right now. And solo
Mm-hmm.
queue, I can bump it up, but it's just not it's not a five stack mon.
Yeah, it's not really. It never seemed like a good fighting Pokemon to me. Like it was not the jungler to fight. It was not a team fight jungler. It was a secure
Yeah,
and a score
you're
like a back
doing your
capping
farm.
jungler, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Uh
and then it seems like there's just better back capping junglers. Like, well, one you can make it not your jungler and run Talonflame or something, or even like I'm guessing Dodrio would be a better one because its Unite move can still get it across the map almost as fast, and it's just faster in general.
yeah.
So there's just got to be better scoring junglers that can also fight better.
Yeah. I would put Zarina probably top of B tier. Zarina, it got nerfed with the new patch and everything. It just not doing the damage that it used to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 3-stage evolution mon, which it sucks. It suffers in lane a lot because it's squishy. So like a jungle, once jungle comes to invade your lane as Zarina, like you're just dead. There's not much you can do about it. and then your payoff is not nearly as good as Charizard of actually getting your 9 and getting your ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any true damage on the Mon. Like, if you get behind on Zarina, it's the worst feeling.
Yeah,
Like, it's just
yeah, that's for
super,
sure.
super bad. I might even put Zarina. Hold on, I'll put Zarina lower on B tier. Like, this Mon is just really bad.
It does not
Uh,
feel. It does not feel strong. It does not feel like it's whooping anyone like
yeah,
it used to. Like
it's
right
like
before
if
I
you're
stopped competing, I was definitely playing Serena because she was a monster. Remember, we did
yeah,
a scrim of when I was still on the team. It was our screen versus your guys's. And the only thing that was going good for my team was me as Serena. I was just whooping anybody that walked by me just because I
exactly.
could.
Yeah, they
Just because I could. It
you
was just like this is crazy.
yeah, you're no longer in that
Yeah, she's
time
not.
frame.
She
It's
feels
she,
like
I
she has to do a lot of damage, or she's not very good. Like she has
yeah.
to be really good, like S tier, or she's not good,
Yep.
kind of thing.
Let's see here. Let's go to Trevenant now.
The tree.
Trevenant is a pretty good tank. He's a pretty good tank as long as you're hitting your skill shot, as long as you're hitting your leech lives or
Hmm.
whatever they're called. I'd probably put him above Blissey. He's probably top of B tier. Just
Hmm.
Trevenant, he feels good. I think the only problem is like Mime's a thing right now, so like why
Yeah,
would you not like why would you run Trevenant instead of Mime? And like that's your big problem.
yeah. It feels like
The
they're
other
kind
thing
of
is
doing somewhat the same thing. Just the
yeah,
whittling down. The I'm gonna heal off of you. Keep whittling you down with curse. It's what curse horn leech. I think it is.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's yeah, Curse Leech. I or it's Leech Life. Or Horn Leech. I don't know. I can't remember anymore. I
And
think
whatever
the
one.
other
Yeah.
thing is just what is it? Mr. Mime synergizes really well with Mew and Glaceon, while Trevenant just has no synergy with him. If you're running like a counter comp or something, like if you just want to run something different,
Mhm.
like you can run Charizard jungle with like Lucario and Greedent. I don't know. Like if you're running like physical attackers or something, like Trevenant can feel very good. Like Trevenant and Charizard work really well together, synergize really well.
Just doesn't really
But
fit with it. Just doesn't really quite fit with the meta trio. You wouldn't even run it as like
yeah,
a second tank for that trio, really.
yeah, no, it's just there's not much reason to.
Yeah.
It's just a worse version of Mr. Mime right now. Is one way to think about it. Sword. Aegislash is really good right now. I would put it towards the top of A, and this is strictly for 5 stacks.
Yeah.
I put it right behind Charizard because it doesn't have true damage. But Aegislash is really good. If you're an amazing Aegislash player, then you're doing well.
Hmm.
It does really good burst damage. It like as long as you're like playing the bushes right and everything, and you're engaging like correctly against Mew and Glaceon, like you can one shot them. You can win 1v1s against Mime.
Hmm.
You're doing really well on it but it's a high skill cap character.
Oh yeah.
So like at the highest ceiling for the character, it's like you're doing really well into the meta. If you just suck at the character, you're going to suck. So I'm just
Yeah.
like basing this on like, hey, this is somebody in a 5 stack that's like one of the top, like just a really good Aegis player.
That
So
makes sense. Yeah.
I can place it in between I placed it in between Charizard and Snorlax.
So I have those three in A plus, like separated, like
Yeah,
they
there
seem
you go.
like they're yeah. And
Yeah,
then Cram
that's a
right
good
behind
spot.
them in the Japanese S tier. And then I got Lucario through Sylveon in A tier. From what it sounds like, it's like these guys, those three have just more space. Yeah, H
Yeah,
size feels crazy. He's when me and my roommate are just like we want to go on a win streak. He takes Gengar to the jungle. I take Aegislash top lane, and we just win.
yeah.
We have not lost a game with that duo yet. So yeah, Aegislash feels crazy. He can 1v1. He can 3v1 everybody. He can just not die. He's got so much sustain too. If you can play the shield form right by like
Yeah.
just making sure you hit it when you're about to die, pop a potion or whatever, heal yourself back to full, then Sacred Sword comes back on cooldown, and you just keep going. Yeah, he feels great.
Yeah. I'm gonna put Hoopa as the next one. I'm putting that at the bottom of B tier. I think the meta hasn't fleshed out yet enough for Hoopa, is what it is. So that's the reason I'm putting it in B tier instead of C tier. Hoopa suffers from the same problems that Eldegoss does, where it is a support. It's a squishy support when you're already running Mew and Glaceon, which are also squishy, so it like ruins your team balance and stuff and
Yeah.
makes you very highly susceptible to other stuff. They got it indirect nerfed with how the home portal works, so like your portals and stuff aren't as effective for like healing your team back up to full.
Yeah, you don't heal as fast on base, right? So you won't be able to heal
Yeah,
back to full. You heal like maybe
you can heal
half.
back up to full. You can still heal back up to full. It's just it takes a while to do it.
Yeah. So it just gives
Uh,
the enemy team just so much time to react and just like, oh, they're gone. I'm just gonna leave, or just gonna fight whoever else is here. Get ready,
yeah,
wait. Yeah, it's just too much time.
But it's still because of its portals and stuff. I'll put it in B tier because you can still make a crazy plays with Hoopa. And then as Unbound, like the ultimate's still really good. It's a lot better than it. It's definitely better than any of the mons in C tier.
Yeah, man,
Um,
how things have changed.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's the
thank.
lowest. It's one of the lowest pick rate Pokemon right now, which I think is
I haven't
crazy.
seen it yet since I've played, and it's been like almost a month since I've been playing again. I haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet. I've not seen a single one being played. It's
I'll
crazy.
put Duraludon in C tier now. As this Duraludon, I'll put it in C tier in between Machamp and Eldegoss. Duraludon is just you're an attacker that's stationary,
Yeah.
and like you don't have unless you're running Dragon Tail, like you don't really have any movement, and even Dragon Tail isn't particularly great movement. You kind of just get one shot by everything, and it just feels bad in
Yeah,
the
that makes
meta.
sense. He just feels stuck.
Yeah, it's not you can run any other attacker and like do everything that Duraludon does,
Yeah.
just probably better and more survivability.
Even just like the 80 carries,
Azumarill,
Cinderace and Greninja can at least like move. You just can't.
yeah,
You just can't.
yeah, I'll have Azumarill over in C tier as well. Uh, I'll probably have Azumarill at like bottom. You know what? I'll have Azumarill at like top of D tier. My problem with Azumarill right now is that it's supposed to be the 1v1 Pokemon for Unite. It's supposed to be the Mon that you're trying to do 1v1s with, but it loses
This
to
is the mine.
yeah, it loses to mine 1v1 every single time.
It's poor thing.
Yeah. So
Also,
it's just it feels bad.
I don't feel like being a 1v1 Pokemon in this game is a very good idea. To me,
It's
it
like it
feels
is and it's not.
too
It's
yeah.
probably it's better in solo queue than 5 stacks. I mean, like you need this mon in the game or this type of mon in the game
Yeah.
just for versatility and stuff, but other than that.
It can't win.
Uh
It's just gonna lose, so it's pointless.
yeah. Espeon, I'll put Espeon in the top of C tier. Espeon's better than Gardevoir. It gets its power spike earlier. You can use it in lane. It's just not amazing. Again, it's competing with Mew and Glaceon
hmm
and Cramorant for that matter.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything that those mons can't do, and it doesn't have a particularly amazing like CC pool. Like I don't think it has any CC now that I think about it. Oh, besides the stun on Psyshock,
Oh yeah,
which
I
that's
forgot that stats.
okay. Yeah, which that's fine, but like you can always just use Pikachu or Ninetales, and you can have a better, and you can have more CC.
Yeah, that
Uh,
makes sense. I was expecting about as much like good damage, but not great. No CC. Yeah, just
yeah,
seems like it seems like a very Pokemon.
yeah. Delphox now. Delphox, I'm putting at the top of A plus tier. Like, put that thing. It's above Charizard. Delphox is
Yeah.
stupidly good. Delphox, if it's I would put Delphox in S tier if Mew. You know what? I'll put Delphox in S tier. Delphox deserves bottom of S tier. It's just if you're not using Mew or if you're not using Glaceon, use Delphox, and you can win games.
Oh yeah.
Delphox kites everything in the entire meta like out of the water. You can kite the entire meta. Nothing can touch you when you're running Mystical Fire Flame Charge. Your ultimate's stupidly good, and it has a really low cooldown, so you're using it all the time. Like I've won troll games in like five against 5 stacks just because we had King going jungle Delphox. Like we've had King just simply win games for us while like the rest of us were trolling.
This thing feels like what Cinderace was near the beginning of the game when it was like the best jungler. Or it was like the best
Yeah,
Pokemon. That's how Delphox feels right now. It's like
and if you
special
were
attacking Cinderace, but like the same. It's thing's so good.
yeah, if you want to force your team to win a game, like in solo queue or anything, like you just go Delphox, let your team give you jungle, and then you can just win the game for your team,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
basically.
It even feels fine in lane for like a solo queue setting. 5 stack probably not.
Oh,
But
in 5 stacks, it feels much better in lane.
oh
Its
really?
solo
So
queue is a little, yeah.
yeah, I can see
The
it. It's
rest of
like
us are trolling.
it's a Gardevoir that can actually lane. Like it's a Gardevoir that doesn't
Yeah,
suck, but
it's a
when it
Gardevoir
starts,
that can actually lane and do stuff, and it can kite so much. It's basically just like what would happen if Gardevoir was on steroids. Is what Delphox is right now.
yeah, that makes sense. Will you explain the Unite? Because this is a Pokemon that came out when I wasn't playing and I didn't really look at it as much. What does the Unite move really do? Is it just big AOE attack?
It's a big AoE field, so you're creating a zone.
Mm.
Any enemy team within that zone is slowed. They take damage, and they have reduced healing. So it's a debuff on their healing. So you're
Ooh,
talking.
okay.
So you're talking about like any of your like meta defenders again. You're being your Slowbros, your Blissies, your Greedents, or anything else. Like you're just or your Trevenants. You're reducing their healing, which is basically like letting them get one shot.
And then you're just gonna kite the. You're already kiting the hell out of
Yeah,
everybody, and
and then
once they're in there,
you're
they're just
fighting
getting
the crap out of
murdered.
everything. Yeah,
And with a cooldown build, yeah, this thing feels
yeah. It has
fantastic.
infinite. Once you get like level 11 on Delphox, you can start infinitely casting your Flame Charge and
Physical
your
fire.
Mystical Fire, and then you're just broken. You're just kiting. You're just skating around the area. Like unless you get some in a 5 stack, it's so much better because you're gonna have your tanks and stuff like check out bushes for you,
Mm-hmm.
so you can know exactly where the enemy team is and everything, and you're just like fine. Like it's right now it's really is like one of the best mons in the game. If Glaceon and Mew, if one of those two mons were nerfed or so or didn't exist,
It would immediately jump
Delphox,
in their place.
yeah, it would immediately
Yeah,
jump in as like your primary one of your primary attackers.
yeah, that makes sense. It's just barely meta. Would you ever see this thing on a team right now,
Yes.
like with those three?
Not with those three, you would swap out one or the other.
Okay, so
Like if
that
you
would be too
have, I
squishy.
would say if you, yeah, I would say
Yeah,
just
it's very
straight up,
squishy.
if your Mew player is not good at playing Mew in 5 stack setting, like if they just do not have the skill necessary to play Mew, put them on Delphox.
Yeah, can you figure out Delphox? Yeah, I can do that. All right, cool, we're good.
Yeah, I'm like
That makes a lot of sense.
even the Fire Spin build is not bad.
Yeah, no.
Like you're losing your ability to kite everything, but like your Fire Spin isn't bad, and it's a really annoying form of CC.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's talk about Buzzwole. Buzzwole. Buzzwole is probably B.
Oh,
It's a, it's like high B. I put it like right, put it right in between Blissey and Slowbro.
oh wow. Okay,
Yeah, it's
I thought this thing was
Buzzwole.
bad.
Yeah, Buzzwole suffers. It just doesn't have enough damage early game, but like you can pop off. Like Smackdown is, or not Smackdown. What's it? Heavy Slam?
Superpower.
Not. Yeah, Superpower. Thank you.
Well, yeah, where he grabs him and like
Yeah,
submission on the chip. Yeah,
superpower.
that
Yeah,
move is crazy.
superpower is very good. you can counter Greedent super hard with superpower. The passive on Buzzwole is really good. Like once you start getting, especially for late game, like once you start getting kills or once kills start happening, Buzzwole can start like really popping off and like guaranteeing like you wipe the enemy team.
So is that how his passive works? You once you get a
Well, yeah,
kill, is
it's
it when
it's
you or
boosters.
when someone close
No,
by?
it's assists or kills.
Okay,
So basically, if somebody dies in the vicinity of you, you'll have your attack increased as well as your movement speed increased, or your attack speed and your movement speed increased
and it
for a
just
short
keeps
time.
stacking.
Yeah, and then it stacks up a little bit, and then it
Okay.
gets reset. But it's really good. It's just like I would use it as a all rounder if you just don't want to use a Greedent or a like any of the ones that we have in A tier.
Yeah.
Like Buzzwole would probably be my choice for like your top lane all rounder pick if you just don't want to use any of the mons that are in A or A plus tier
Yeah. If you didn't want the
for
jungle invaders or you couldn't handle like AG slash, you didn't want Charizard for whatever reason.
yeah.
It's got a lot of
Uh,
competition, but yeah, okay.
it
I
does.
thought it was pretty cool.
It has a lot of competition, but it's definitely better than your Zarenas and your Machamps and stuff.
It's a good team fight Pokemon. It's a really
Yeah,
good
it's a
end
good
game
team
team
fight.
fight. Mollywop, just start snowballing. You get the one pick, and it's just like, all right, we win, kind of thing.
And it's even good for like if you're behind and you need like some sort of variable to like let you get a win condition. Because say like middle you're behind you lose early game, but mid game the enemy team overextends trying to get some more caps. Once you get some kills, once you start getting some kills, like Buzzwole can like help finish off the rest of those kills and like get you back in the game.
Okay, it seems like he synergizes perfectly with the main three
Yep.
because they're just so
Let's see.
bursty, kill everything.
Let's talk about T-Tar now. T-Tar is something. He's either terrible or he's okay. He is. I don't. I'll put him at bottom of B tier right now. Uh, my problems with T-Tar right now is T-Tar gets kited very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Does really bad like early on. Uh, does really bad early on in the game, but it has true damage, and that's just super strong right now. True damage is just really good
Yeah,
for defending Rays, as well as the ultimate is still really good with the execute.
yeah, I could totally see it's the jungler, right? Can it
Yeah,
lane?
it can lane. You would probably see it more so in lane, and then it would just be partner. It's like Charizard, where you partner it up with a strong laner to make sure
Yeah.
it can hit 9.
Okay, I was thinking I could totally see like a cool team of like Tyranitar in lane or Tyranitar in jungle, and then you have Buzzwole in top lane, and you just go for that. You have like a super
Yeah,
bursty get the one Tyranitar gets the execute to get the one kill, and then Tyranitar and Buzzwole just kill everybody else and just like win
yeah.
for you.
Basically, like they can synergize well and stuff. And I would probably, I don't know, like if you're looking for like a tanky all rounder team, I might go like T-Tar, Buzzwole, like Charizard jungle with
Mhm.
like maybe Trevenant and something else. Probably something ranged at that point, just so you have some range damage. Maybe you throw your Decidueye then, your Spirit Shackle Decidueye. Let it troll early game to get its stacks, and then you have attack weight or fully stacked Decidueye for late game.
The stacking. This is you. Wow, I can't believe that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I see it. 'Cause I know Spirit Shackle scales like crazy.
Yeah.
Just let it troll. Just fine whatever. Just do it. That's funny.
I guess final mon here, Dodrio. Dodrio, I could put Dodrio at top of C tier right now. I haven't seen a lot of it in 5 stacks. It's just really squishy,
Yeah.
very easy to get behind. It's kind of non-existent. The only use that you have for it is like letting it back cap and then praying that it does something to like keep the enemy team away. So you're doing like 4v4s instead of 4v5s.
Yeah.
But like other than that, there's not much use for it.
It's also really new, so we'll have to see. I
Yeah,
see. I see this.
we'll have to
I
wait
feel
and
like
see.
this is gonna be a Japanese Pokemon.
Yeah, definitely,
It's totally gonna be a
definitely.
Japanese Pokemon. They're gonna. I can see this being like the instead of a Greedent, they have a Dodrio and Lane for some reason, solo
Yeah,
Lane or whatever. I don't know. They're gonna do something weird with it.
yeah. It's just like
But that
Dodrio
makes sense
is
for
if
now.
you get behind, Dodrio feels like really good.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, if you get ahead,
Yeah.
Dodrio feels really good. But if you're behind, Dodrio just is
Just feels
oof.
so
You want
bad.
anything else? Anything else?
Yeah. I do have to say I think he's got some of the best early ganks though because he it feels like he clears his jungle really fast and he just comes out and can just smack really
Yeah,
hard. Like the first the my I almost think it's like the best first gank. Maybe not because Glaceon has icy wind at that point, so probably not.
yeah. I would
But
say
it's a
it's
great first
similar.
gank, and then it's just like okay.
Yeah, it's a decent first gank.
It's also hard to play. It is not does not seem like an easy. It's not an easy Pokemon to play.
Yeah,
Just because it's so different. It's so different.
definitely.
You're so
The
used to
mechanics
aiming, you
are
can't.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah, the mechanics are so weird and everything.
yeah.
I guess that's it for the mons. I'm gonna be right back. I have to handle something real quick.
Go for
But
it.
if you want to wrap up the video, you're more than welcome to. And then
Yeah.
we'll be back to viewer games chat once I get back.
Well, I'm surprised. I'm surprised and I'm not surprised. Okay, I'll just go quick. I'll go do a quick one over what I'm surprised about, what I'm not surprised about. Should we start top or bottom? Top. Let's do top. Mime's good a lot. I'm not surprised. He's overtuned. It's these guys are all overtuned. Mew's stupid. Mime is stupid. I didn't realize Glaceon was stupid, but now I do because I see when stupid. Delphox is cool. I'm very happy with Delphox. I like Delphox. It's really good, but it's like cool. It feels like what Cinderace. I guess Cinderace used to kind of be BS when it was like really good early on in the game's life. Delphox. I feel like I'm okay with it being where it is. Charizard feels really good. I'm not surprised about this. AG Slash. I think I was right on the money about these two. They just feel good. They feel like they win fights, and they can handle these guys, which makes sense. Snorlax being a support is kind of cool. But Snorlax is always good. I expected Snorlax to be somewhere up here. Cram being that good. Japanese S tier. So Cram, like I guess in Japan they probably put it like here or something like that. It's still being good. That makes sense to me. Lucario being worse that's a first, but he's still like good. He's still like what top 10 on this list, so that nothing changed there. Greedent's always good. I'm glad to see Absol is good, usable spot. Gengar doesn't surprise me. It's a solo queue monster, but yeah. Greninja, there's just not really a reason to use it in jungle, but you could. Sylveon, I'm not surprised where Sylveon is. B tier's filled. There's so many B tier Pokemon, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
It's
B
just
tier is a
they're not
very
quite the meta. They're
yeah.
good.
It's
They're meta, but they're not good, or they're not quite the meta, but they're good.
yeah.
It's like
One of
something like that.
the for my 5 star for my team, Team Drip. We're currently in a league that does pick bans. So there's total of each team gets 3 bans, like throughout the pick ban phase, and there's no duplicates.
Mm.
So like these B tier mons get played a lot during the Zapdos League. So that we're playing with because like of course like Glaceon, Mime, and Mew like get banned all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like
Just for you
a
to
lot
have
of your
fun.
A tier like these are basically anything in A tier, like anything in maybe besides what's her name? Sylveon. Besides Sylveon, the rest of the stuff in A tier, like I could probably drop Sylveon down into B tier. But everything else in A tier, I've seen get banned at one point or another.
That's interesting. I really hope the rumors of pick ban phase coming are true.
Yeah, we definitely
Please,
should. I mean, we're up
please.
into
We've
it's like
got a
40
ton of
something months.
Pokemon. Yeah, we've got a
Yeah, this
ton.
took
We're
us forever
fine.
to make this video. This took us forever to make this video. Like,
Yeah. we're fine. We can definitely we're totally fine. Just let I think it'd be the best way they should do it is just give everyone one ban just like they do in League.
I mean, not to
Everyone gets
mention,
one.
like, look, we got 5 more freaking.
Well, four
You
because
got 5 more
Scyther
company
Caesar are the
on
same
the way.
character.
They might be the same character, but they play totally differently. I mean,
Yeah,
they might as well be 5.
yeah, yeah. We got more. These guys are coming soon. Also, I'm
Yeah.
so glad that they're finally jumping away from attackers. There's so many attackers. Please stop
Oh
adding any
yeah.
more DLC attackers.
Oh yeah.
DLC. Stop adding
I'm,
attackers.
I'm ready. I'm ready
Another
for that.
speedster. Thank you. Another support. Thank you. Fable's supposed to be support. Thank you. We need more. There's not enough
Yeah.
orange. There's not enough orange on the screen. There's more orange on Buzzwole than there is in the screen. Okay, where was that? So yeah, B tier. I'm a little surprised by some things in B tier, but I feel actually. No, I think everything in B tier is pretty made sense to me. I think Buzzwole was a surprise, but then I'm just because I didn't really know much about him. And then C tier, some of these C tier was a couple surprises. So Machamp felt surprising. Um, Wiggly was almost surprising, and then makes sense. And then D tier, I'm sad that Blastoise is not very good, but that makes sense.
Once it gets buffed, we're
sense.
waiting. Just next
Yeah.
patch, man.
Waiting
Do a
room.
new tier list next patch, and then we can compare.
Waiting room. Let me put the waiting room, the rating room tier.
The waiting room. All right.
Okay, I guess the final question I have for you.
All right.
Outside of the trio, who I guess what's the most is there a common 5-stack team that's being run right now, or is it kind of like is these three is the next to like the Charizard Snorlax that you guys run, is that very common, or is it very?
Yeah, it's semi common. Like, it's right now you're looking at Snorlax is pretty common in 5 stacks versus 5 stacks. Of course, if you're a serious 5 stack right now, you're running the Mime, Mew, and Glaceon.
Mhm.
And it's just like the other 2 Pokemon are like what you're sliding in, and then that one's the what you're kind of choosing between. So Mime, Mew, Glaceon, for us, it's Snorlax and Charizard. We've also experimented with other stuff that we see often, like Mime, Mew, Glaceon, with uh, Slowbro and Sylveon. I've seen that as well. Again, Slowbro also works just like Wigglytuff, where its abilities debuff or decrease the special defense
Mhm.
of enemy mons, and that also applies to what's it called, objectives. So like what we were talking on with like that super high like rip
Yeah,
comp and stuff, that still
yeah.
applies. And then it's just I've seen some tree, and I've seen some Mamo being thrown in there. It's basically like what you're choosing to play as your support and your defender varies greatly with between everybody. And then of course like your main 3 like top laners will like end up choosing between like, are you using Mime as your top laner all rounder, or are you using Charizard, Aegislash, uh or Lucario, basically.
Okay. And then
And
yeah,
it's
and
just
then
Mime. It's
Delphoxes
just,
on the teams that don't want to use the trio.
yeah, it's just Mime is so versatile where like
Yeah,
you're using Mime, but it's like, are you using Mime as your all rounder? Are you using Mime as your support? Or are you using Mime as your defender?
he can do
So
all
watching
three.
that, yeah, as once you, it's like as soon as you figure out what you're playing Mime as, that's where you figure out like, hey, what are the other 2?
Yeah. Well, it sounds like there's at least variety for 2 of the members of the team, but the trio is just it's the overbearing. I hate over centralized metas, and the
I
fact
mean,
it's 3 of them
it's
is
just
annoying.
like,
But yeah, it
this is
happens.
something this is something I've said in private for a while, but I knew that this was coming from a long time, or at least I've tried making it work from even way back when we were on the old map, which was special attackers right now there's just no counter to.
Yeah.
You just have, other than like, hey, assault vest, or Mr. or what is it? Or what is it? Hyper, sorry, mystical fire on Sylveon, or amnesia plus. So you have to get Slowbro all the way up to 13 to get amnesia plus. Like those are the only moves or items that do anything against your special attackers
They just
that
don't
can
do
kind of
it.
nerf
They're just
that.
yeah. So it's just happening. And then there's a mix of 2-1-2, 1-1-3. As it just depend on who you've got. Because if you're running
It all
Creighton, it's kind
depends.
of like probably
Yeah,
one
again,
top
it
lane,
all
one jungle,
depends on
two.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, again, it all depends. Like you're saying, split jungle between, like, you'll have like Glaceon can take one of the jungle buffs and you can take the other jungle buff.
Oh,
Sometimes
okay.
you can do that where they're sharing buffs. That was really common at the start of the meta. Uh, you can have Glaceon just only take or take all the jungle, and then let Mew go and jungle invade. Even like Mew can go and jungle invade with Solar Beam Light Screen.
You don't even have to be in their jungle.
Yeah,
You just
like
wait.
you're doing that from like the mid area, and then like you're stealing that.
That's
You
so
have
stupid.
you could just go into lane. I mean, it's just everything is so versatile. You can do 2-1-2. You can do one. You're not seeing much 1-1-3, but it is possible.
Hmm.
Uh, the reason why you're not seeing 1-1-3 nearly as much is just because Aleki is just so much more important now.
And you wouldn't leave someone alone in the bottom lane, really,
I
because
mean,
bottom lane's not really
you can
good for
do
like
three. Yeah,
stacking.
you can do 3-1-1, I guess,
Yeah,
but
it's just like what the
it's
yeah.
just there again. There's more farm in the bot lane than there is the top lane, so you don't want to commit too many people top lane and leave that bot lane for somebody to just farm up, and like the enemy team could have a mime that's like level 11, while your jungler's still level 8 or 9.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so my
Yeah,
Mew kind of go wherever they want. Glaceon can she doesn't have to take all the jungle, so can definitely share. And then you just got mix of jungle invaders. You can so people who just roam. Oh, there's not like a super all. There's not like a tied down 2-1-2, or anything like that. It's kind of just what your comp is, what the strategy is for this game, what you're fighting. Can you invade the enemy jungler? Are they not running Glaceon? Are they running a Greninja? Oh, okay, so I'm going to invade instead. So you're going to be alone. So it's very fluid.
one of the best strategies that you have is to invade that Glaceon as soon, like immediately. So, like, one of the primary strats right now, this is the reason why you're seeing both like shared jungle with Mew as well as split jungle. I'm sorry, split jungle with Mew as well as just Glaceon only in there, is that you can still like try to steal buff fast enough from Glaceon before they hit their 4. It's just like whether or not you can do that. Like, there's some jungler. This is the reason why like Lucario is decent and Slowbro is decent. I'm sorry, not Slowbro. Snorlax is decent,
Mm-hmm.
is because you can run like Lucario can just run up and try to just take whatever buff that it wants and then run immediately away, like just to steal a buff to try to slow down the Glaceon as much as possible.
Yeah.
Or like you have Snorlax who's running EXP share that just runs up and tries to kill the EV as quickly as possible while taking any kind of or while securing any kind of jungle that it tries to do.
Yeah.
Like you're not hitting the wild farm as the Snorlax. You're just trying to put the
You're just
jungler
smacking the
as far
EV.
behind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're just smacking the EV. So even if they kill you and they get into lane, they're hurt. That
yeah,
whoever your mime, your Mew, your AG slash, whatever is going to kill them.
yep.
And
You're
then
only stealing
my
your
Mew splitting jungle is the counter to jungle invading, but they're not as strong immediately, I guess.
yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Actually, I like that. That's kind of cool. I like this. I like this trio.
It's nice.
I
You're
like
having
Glaceon in the trio. I think Mime is just a horse, but I kind of like what he does. I like the idea of Mew. Just the damage of Mew just pisses me off.
Yeah.
But overall, I
It's,
like
it's
it. I like the idea of this trio that's super flexible. I like Glaceon.
yeah.
I like Glaceon in this, and the other two I like the idea of. They're just overtuned. They're all just so overtuned. If they were easier to handle, if
Yep.
Azumarill could 1v1 mine, yeah, that's like if just a little bit of tone down would make this. I'd like it. And I love Delphox. I think Delphox is so cool right now. Like it's super good and it just feels cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the new patch that comes out. This will be our first, like I would call this our first like actual patch of the new map, and I feel like this will do very well as far as balancing out the meta, as
Mm-hmm.
far as and seeing like the new and you're gonna have a much more like flexible slash uh healthier meta.
Mm-hmm. I'm sad they got rid of the Natsus and on top lane. I loved those things. I thought that was so cool to have a bunch
Yeah,
of little ones for
yeah.
stacking.
Oh,
Like, I'm so mad they switched that.
my Yeah, my thoughts on the changes. I just feel like Tencent just got lazy. Like they knew there was a problem with there being too much farm on the map, and by like too much farm, I mean like it was too easy to charge Unite moves on the map.
Yeah.
So they reverted. They decided to just like, all right, let's just instead of like actually fixing this problem or so, we're just going to revert back to the old stadium and make it feel a lot more like that. So that's why they added like the new another berry. Uh, that's why they added the other berry. That's why they and back into top lane. So now you have two berries top lane again. They got rid of
Mm-hmm.
the Natus and replaced them with what would have been the core fish before.
Yeah, just another bunny.
Yep, and then they got rid of the mid farm and made it spawn much later.
Mm-hmm. I love the mid farm. I think all they really should have done, they should have just got rid of the mid Boltoys. I think that would have been a good fix because the Natus is just like cool as a
No,
bunch
no,
of
no,
little
no.
farms that you can fight
The
over.
mid not I don't know. The mid ball toys for me are just really good. Like that's just a piece of farm that's neutral
I
farm
like it. I
that
think it
you're
like
arguing about.
yeah, just for the cooldown, like for the Unite cooldown, or just make them spawn
Well,
later.
my
That would be
my thing
fine.
was it was the Unite cooldown. The reason why the Natsus were so broken is because you're looking at six very easily to kill mons all right next to each other plus birds when that spawned. Like all that is
True.
in one area right by itself up
And
there in top
you get
lane.
the
So
same
say
Unite cooldown from everything, right?
yeah, yeah. So like on Charizard, you do both. Like you could just use your ultimate. Like so, the enemy team there's a fight in top lane. During said fight, the Natu spawn, but nobody can like touch them yet because they're in the middle of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Charizard uses ulti and takes care of the enemy team and like wins the team fight immediately. It can get its ult back from just clearing out all six of those Natus, and then let's say like beat a bird spawn like right at that moment, takes care of all the birds, like it has its ult back.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So it wasn't
That makes sense.
extremely
Yeah, that's fair.
helpful. This was more so like had to deal with was it Ray fights
Yeah.
because people are worrying about mid lane and everything, so they're not quite in there. And you were having situations where like Charizards would ult during like right at the beginning of the Ray fight, and then as soon as their ult is done, they'll immediately go top lane and then just get
Farm
any
the
farm that was
birds,
up in top lane.
and then just come back in. That's fair. If they weren't lazy, they totally could have just made the Natus not give you any ult charge.
Yeah. Oh,
Just literally
apparently
none.
King just told me in chat. What is it? Delphox could actually get its Unite off just the Natus, the six Natus if it got all six of them.
Okay,
So
that's
like that, it
okay.
was
That's
it
a
was a
fair
little.
change. That's a fair change.
It was
I wish
yeah.
they weren't lazy
I just
about it and
wish
just changed it, but
Yeah, I just
fair.
wish that I just wish that they decided to nerf like how much Unite charge that you're getting from the Natus instead of getting rid of the Natus because I like the idea of like a new kind of wild farm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, make it so that like, if you get all 3 of those Natus, that equates only to the Unite charge that you would have gotten from a like a single Baneri or something, or whatever
Yeah,
it's called, Bunnelby.
but yeah, I would like that.
Yeah. All right. But I guess I'm
Sweet.
gonna start moving back into viewer games. You got anything else you want to say? Shout out to Sane here.
And shout out to Animated Eagle on my channel. For my channel,
Yep.
I have the name of your Twitch under your icon in the video. I'll throw a link to your YouTube and stuff. YouTube and your Twitch in
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
description of the video. I'll
You
have to
do.
edit it for
You stream on
timestamps for
Twitch, by the
sure.
way, right?
Not anymore.
You edit
I
on.
just stream on YouTube.
Okay. Darn.
Yeah, I've
I
kept
was gonna,
everything
I
on
was gonna, I
YouTube.
was gonna shout, I was gonna shout you out on Twitch because I could have done that easily, but I'll do
Fair.
something to shout you out on YouTube. But yeah, catch this guy out on YouTube if you have not already. He does a whole lot of Nuzlocke content.
Sane Aaron,
Excuse me.
SAINAARON. Just look me
Yep,
up.
there you are.
You actually just type in Sane Aaron Nuzlocke, you'll probably find me. Actually, I'll probably pop up pretty early. So,
Yep,
word. Thanks for helping me out with this. It was
yep.
started off as my own research for meta, and I was like, nah, let's make it a video because I'm a content creator and we need this.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Have a good stream. Thank you, chat, for tuning in. Thank you, Pokemon, for being a good franchise.
Yep. All right. Bye bye,
Catch you later.
Sane.
Alrighty, guys. Thanks for tuning in this video. Long one. I'm going to try to put timestamps in there. But go check out Animated Eagle, twitch.tv/AnimatedEagle. He's also on YouTube. I'll throw those subscriptions I'll throw those links in the description below. But if you guys are into Unite, I wanted to do this because I love playing Unite. I love Pokemon. There's other games that I play besides just Pokemon Nuzlocke, and I feel like Unite is a super easy one for me to branch into. Hopefully, you guys are kind of the same audience. Because it's Pokemon. Pokemon is Pokemon. If you play Unite, you probably play Pokemon. Like, chances are you're playing Pokemon. So, anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Love y'all. Peace.